Something has stopped us now. I'll tell you how. We're gonna live on through it. Let's stay inside and spend our time taking things in stride. Good times aren't held at bay. Just stay away from the population and wash your hands to kill off those bacterial strands. Now we're trying to keep a little distance. It's for sure our best resistance to making things a whole lot worse. Come on, kids, let's all go down to the sink. Wash those grubby little hands of yours. 20 seconds. You never know, it might just save a life. Something has stopped us now, but don't you fret, it'll for sure get better. We'll soon be hand in hand, going down to Disneyland. Oh, won't that be so grand, though something has stopped us now. Ah-cha-cha.
Happy Saturday and welcome. You're watching Locked In with Eric Morton. I am your host, your toast host. Get your toast and your breakfast cereal. Hang out with us for a little while. Maybe an English muffin, Mickey waffles, K9 crunchies, Tonga toast, or in my case, maybe a little hair of the dog. Maybe hit a little too hard last night. First night going out to Disney Springs since it's been open. Wine Bar George. They got some good wine there apparently. So I'm told. Now is the part of the show. This is our final show. So we want to celebrate that all day with you guys. We have an amazing show for you. We have a very special guest joining us, who's Rolando Ramos, who some of you may know as world-famous screenwriter Juan Scenario of The Citizens of Hollywood. He'll be joining us pretty soon. We have some epic Disney death matches. We have all kinds of stuff going on, but I'm going to summon the panel now, if you will. Please. Serpents and spiders, tail of a rat. Call in the panel wherever they're at. Rap on a table. It's time to respond. Show me Chris Reed from somewhere beyond. There he is.
How's it going?
There he is. Goblins and ghoulies from last Halloween. Awaken Miss Allison with your tambourine. Oh, I'm terrified. Creepies and crawlies, toads in a pond. Let's see Eric Wolf from Regions Beyond. Oh! So, one more line. Wizards and witches, wherever you dwell, we'll have some death matches by ringing a bell. Nice. That'll be a little later in the show. Nice. Happy Saturday, guys. Welcome.
Hello.
We're as always, we're glad to have you. Very special Saturday here. It is our final episode celebration, and we're glad to have you guys here to celebrate it with us. We're not going away. Just this show is not going to be Locked In with Eric Morton every Saturday from 11 to 2. Something will happen. We'll be around, maybe even tonight on our charity show that we're going to get to in a minute. So we're just happy you guys are here. Let's jump right into it by recapping that last week. Let's see. Last Saturday after Locked In, we had Ride Rehab Watches. They had some California sing-alongs. That's still out there on YouTube for you guys to look at our YouTube channel, WDWNT. Sunday, we had Give My Regards to Broadway. That was, it's Colleen and her husband and Ron and his wife. And, I just went blank. We had more. And Ted was on, and they talked about I know the Frozen Broadway show is closed for good now. I think they went into some reasons, maybe why. Maybe it's not. Maybe that show needs to go back to some later planning stages and clean up a little bit and see if we can make something that resonates a little bit better with the Broadway audiences, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm just speaking from listening to what other people have said. I want to talk a little bit, though. Oh, wait. We had Shanghai Disneyland discussed on pressing issues. They talked about Shanghai Disneyland being open, City Walk being open. So I'm sure now that Disney Springs open this week, there's a lot more to talk about. I've been there a couple times. I could talk a little bit about it if people want to talk about it. We'll see how far we get there. I want to talk about Monday's show. Monday, Tom did Disney park rankings. And some people might have considered them controversial. For instance, the highest ranked Orlando Disney World Park, I think, was Magic Kingdom at 5th. Epcot was 10th.
Oh.
So, oh no, I'm sorry. Animal Kingdom was 4th. So for those of us that haven't been overseas and haven't seen them, it's kind of a shot in the dark. I don't know. Epcot being 10th was kind of a shock to me, but I can't argue with Tom's rationale that the current state that Epcot is in, you're kind of limited on what you can do. It's a big construction site. I get it. Everybody tells me Tokyo Disney Sea is ranked number 1, and that was Tom. Let me go through the way Tom ranked him first, and we'll talk about him quickly. Number 12, Walt Disney Studios Paris. Everyone I've talked to would agree. I think it's probably the weakest Disney park right now. 11, he had Shanghai Disneyland, which is kind of a shock because some people think it's the best.
Yeah.
I heard Carol on Pete's show said, it's the park where they took all the lessons they've learned and made, took all the best stuff and put it in there. Tom didn't agree. I haven't been there. I don't know. Number 10 was Epcot, which is a little shocking because it is probably the park I go to the most. But his rationale was solid. Hong Kong Disneyland came in at 9th. Disney Hollywood Studios was 8th. Disney California Adventure was 7. Disneyland Paris was 6. Magic Kingdom 5. Animal Kingdom 4. Tokyo Disneyland 3. Disneyland 2. Tokyo Disney Sea 1. I want to talk about the Florida parks. And I don't know if you guys agree with Tom's rankings. I didn't watch the entire show. I believe the Epcot thing is, I think the criticisms are fair. A lot of the classic Epcot attractions have been either rethemed, bulldozed, replaced, whatever. And some of the stuff that's coming, like the Ratatouille ride, according to Tom, is not a highlight type of ride. I don't know how you guys feel. I still think World Showcase standing on its own is a really, really fun park. I really enjoy going there. I don't know what you think. What do you think, Eric?
It depends. It honestly depends on what we're ranking it on. I feel like, at least attraction-wise, I've always felt Epcot's a little lacklustered. If we're thinking, family-friendly, also feel like Epcot's kind of, lacking there as well. They're trying. They're trying, and they have tried. I just feel like as of right now in the state, especially in the state that it is in currently, I agree that's the weakest of the 4 parks that we have.
Allison, what do you think?
I didn't watch this particular show. Did he say why he ranked Animal Kingdom higher than the other Disney World parks?
I'm sure he did. I didn't get to that whole thing.
Okay.
I encourage everybody to watch it, including me. I just haven't had. This week was just crazy. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I did go. I watched a little bit of it, and then I went to the end to find out what the final rankings were, because I was curious about that. I don't know. I know that there are many people on this staff who say Animal Kingdom is their favorite Disney park.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Epcot. I agree with, like, in the current state, it's pretty darn rough. Future World is, it's not like it used to be. Yeah, it's kind of it's a construction zone. Like literally, it's a construction zone right now. The Future World that I used to go to years ago was, I loved it. It was wonderful. But I feel like World Showcase on its own, Eric, elevates it because it's just such a wonderful area. I feel like it on its own can bump that up a notch or two and make up for a little bit of what Future World is lacking right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Future World's lacking a little bit. I can see where people think there's not a lot to do, especially if you have kids. Right. There's basically Soarin'. A lot of kids aren't going to ride Mission Space. Test Track. That's the rides in I guess the Frozen ride people like, kids will like. Yeah, it's not a humdinger of a ride, in my opinion. Yeah. But I get it. And Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I remember as a kid there, and then take into consider all the construction that's currently there. If you asked me a couple of years ago, Epcot would probably have been my favorite of the 4 parks. I loved it. And even just with the increase in crowds of like food and wine, it's not as enjoyable as it once was, and
I agree.
as much as I love World Showcase, and yeah, it's just that took it down a notch, and I miss what it was. I miss the Horizons. I miss Living Seas as it was, and World of Motion, and it's just so
Journey
yeah,
into
it's not as
Imagination.
high as exactly as the original. Yeah, no kidding. I miss all that stuff, right? So, and it's like Spaceship Earth is like the last of it. It's the only piece left, really, right, of the original.
Yeah, and Spaceship Earth, I think, like Tuesday was supposed to be the day they close it, right? So Monday would be the last day if the parks were open. I think it was May 26th. They were.
Yeah,
that was it.
Something like that.
And they were going to redo it, and who knows? Who knows who was going to be the narrator? Who knows what they're going to do? We've already done Disney death matches with the narrators. I don't know who's up next.
Despite what might have come across that in my wrong wording the other day, I'm not a fan of the Nemo attraction. I just want to say that I like it as the Living Seas. I used a word that was completely the wrong word. On the show. Yeah, but I watched it afterwards. I'm like, what did I say? It was like enhanced, and that's completely not the right word. And I was my kid is getting 6 teeth at once right now. It's been a rough night, and so forgive me for this. That's So
it was painful.
I just missed all that
to hear. It was painful for Tom to hear him rank at 10th, because I think it has been my favorite park at many points of my life, and like I said, I still probably go there the most because I just enjoy. I like to take the casual stroll after work or something like that to walk around the world, and, maybe get dinner or bite to eat, or maybe a beer, maybe I don't know. So, but I haven't been to Hong Kong Disneyland. I haven't been to Disneyland Paris. I haven't been to Tokyo. So I've been to Disneyland. I've been to DCA. DCA, the first time I went, I would have put it as my worst park, but it's way better now that they have, Cars Land and all that stuff. But next he ranked Hollywood Studios 8th. And I think I have an idea why, and I'll just, throw this out there. I love Disney's Hollywood Studios, but they've added all these new attractions, but it has made the parks very crowded, and the attractions they added are a lot of waiting and not a whole lot of, Mickey's Minnie's Runaway Railway. They took an attraction, like the Great Movie Ride was maybe 20 minutes long, and now Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway is how long? 5 minutes. The studios used to have attractions that were cartoonishly long, like the Backlot tour was like so long, right? Pack a lunch, you should stop for a lunch
especially
break
originally.
Especially originally. And now the park, which is a beautiful park, and still among my favorites, there's attraction wise, they have four really new attractions, I guess. Or you have Slinky Dog Dash, you have Smuggler's Run, you have Rise of the Resistance, and you have Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. So they're working hard in that park. But I don't know. I can't really argue with his rationale. I think I can enjoy myself more today at Hollywood Studios than some of the others, maybe. But I don't know. What do you think? Let's go the other way this time. Let's start with Chris.
Yeah, I tend to agree with it. And maybe it's just this like nostalgic thing I can't get out of my mind, but I missed that long backlot tour. I really enjoyed the Great Movie Ride and how long it was. I missed even goofy things like the Monster Sound Show and all those. Like and the movie sets that the 101 Dalmatians movie set tour that you got to go on back in the like I miss all that kind of stuff and what the studios were, which was studios at that point, right? And it's just become and it's just like IP Central right now. And I wouldn't rank it much. I'd probably agree with like number 8-ish or something like that, where Tom had it.
I mean, it is where it is. I don't know. I still love it. And there are certain things about the studios that we all love that we're going to talk about real soon with a special guest. I know. Yeah. So there's a lot of special stuff about the studios. Oh yeah. Eric is popped. Allison, what do you think? Is that fair?
I feel like our what everybody's saying is fair. I feel similarly. it's lost a little bit of its identity. I do like the old school Hollywood feel to it, and there's definitely some, some nostalgic feel to it. And there's some really, really solid attractions there that I always try to go on. I always try to enjoy. There's not too much like going on with like food as well, and that's one of the big like pulls for me to go to one of the parks now that especially that I live down here, is like, okay, like where can we go to get like a great dinner? Where can we go to get like these like iconic snacks? I mean, you have the Brown Derby, which is wonderful, and you have a couple of other places, but not a whole lot, not as much as Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and Animal Kingdom have a little bit more to offer as far as I think food goes. But I enjoy it, but not as much as some of the other parks. But I do have to say, I do love some of the individuals outside entertaining our guests in the morning, the ones that we're going to be talking about. And yep, I love them. They're awesome, and I do love going there. And I definitely try to make a point to see those friends.
That's it. You make a good point about the food, though, and I think the food might elevate Epcot. Just the sheer volume of options you have for dining at Epcot are, insane.
Yeah,
there's so many restaurants there. I mean, that, I don't know. Maybe I was wrong about Epcot. Maybe it should be ranked higher. I don't know. Eric, what about DHS being 8th? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, honestly, I am. Like everyone has been saying, like, Disney's Hollywood Studios unfortunately doesn't understand its identity at this point. It's very much like the beginning of it is still like, oh, we're in a studio, we're in Hollywood, we're still making movies, and then you go to the back and it's like you're in the movies, and I don't know, it's kind of just lackluster. It's just I don't know. And Allison actually did bring a good point, which I didn't think about. The food in that park is just not great. Just overall.
There are some fun restaurants. There's some fun restaurants in the park. But
yes.
Yeah, but the food itself is.
But yeah, the food itself is just. And I don't know.
I get it.
It's such a weird thing. Like I've always thought, like, if they want to do the whole like Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land, but they want to keep it as studios, they should have just made like big, huge studio lot, like facades in the front. Let you walk into those movies, and then you can walk back out, and you're in another studio, and you're back in the studios. You can go into another. Yeah, I'm like, come on, but like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I think. Again, I don't know that I would rank them exactly how Tom did, but I think his rankings in this case happen to be fair. And then we have Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom as 5 and 4, with Tokyo Disneyland, original Disneyland, and Tokyo Disney Sea above it. I think everyone's going to agree that, from what I've heard, those three. Well, I've been to Disneyland. I haven't been to obviously Tokyo, but those three are probably better than the Florida ones. So I don't know. I know a lot of people say Animal Kingdom's their favorite. It's actually my least favorite Florida park. But as I've said recently, I think I'm trying to reset my perspective when the parks open back up. I want to go again because I think I had a negative early perception of Animal Kingdom when it opened. And then I have just always kind of held that against it. And I think there's a lot more to do that I don't even pay attention to now when I go. So I'm going to try to go back in with an open mind because I want to love Animal Kingdom. And I think it's the park that there's the most left for me to explore. Kind of like why people go to Universal. Hey, it's something that's a little unfamiliar to me, that's familiar to me, but I don't know it like the back of my hand. I'm going to go to Universal and check it out. I don't want to get hung up on a long conversation about this topic. I just, does anybody disagree with Magic Kingdom 5 and Animal Kingdom 4?
I probably would have switched them, but that's not much of a difference.
Yeah. That's fair too. Switch them. Although I think Animal Kingdom, Tom really likes Pandora. I'm not as into it as Tom, but I know that the Pandora probably helped him move it over the top. Also, some of the, as Tom will say, we have the worst Pirates of the Caribbean in the world, which bothers him. I still like it, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I think I should move on, though. I don't want to get hung up on this. I don't want to bore our viewers on our final show. There's plenty of good stuff ahead. We had Cosmic Read live Monday night. How'd it go, Chris? I caught him right as he's drinking.
You caught me there. Yeah. It was good just because of Springs opening like a couple days later. We were talking about kind of the transition and memories from downtown Disney and some Pleasure Island stories, and then our thoughts on Springs reopening. Had a good conversation in the chat. Drummed up a lot of good memories about some of the places that we missed, and looking forward to the future. Yeah.
Good. Tuesday, we had the Dinosaur 20th Anniversary Watch Along. Then we had our new show, Universal Orlando News Today. So we have people who go to Universal now, apparently, and I'm interested to see what their stories are like. Universal will be opening on June 5th. It'll be soft opening June 1st to special employees and special guests. And I think their pass holders got an invite to come sometime during that time frame. So we'll get some probably good intel on how this all is going to work with social distancing, how, I'm going to talk about it in a minute about social distancing and how we're doing so far. Wednesday, we had graphics time with Tyler and Rob. And actually in the middle of it, Tom, well, they were a couple hours in, and Tom interrupted the show for breaking news of him walking around Disney Springs because it opened on Thursday or on Wednesday. And so that was really great. Tom walked around and showed everybody what's going on at Disney Springs. It's pretty chill. It was pretty chill that day anyway. But it is neat. Then we had Park Center, one of our main shows that will be sticking around. Everybody loves Park Center. That was on Wednesday. Thursday, we had Party with Pete. Pete had another piano player. Scotty was on with Pete this time. So that is Pete's fourth piano player. Pete knows his piano people because I know he's had Yeehaw Bob. He had Piano Rob. He had Carol from UK, and now he had Scotty. So everybody loves it. It's a great time on Party with Pete. Pete has not done his last show. In fact, I'm the first of us to do our final show because our final show recap is next Friday the 29th. Next Friday the 29th, which will be the day before Saturday when my show. So there will be another Party with Pete. The party is not over there. Thursday night, we did WDW News Tonight, our flagship program. I was in the studio. There were three of us. Well, four if you count. Colleen was there as well. So we had, we had a good time. Tom is still pushing his new segment called Leveled, where we leveled the Epcot background music. Some of them good, some of them bad. I don't know, but it's always a good time. News Tonight, check it out. It's our big program that we do every Thursday, and it was, as always, a lot of fun. Some funny stuff. There were game shows. There are comedy bits. There are panel discussions. If you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. Last night was WDWNT staff Disney Parks Memories. How shall I say? We were having a good time last night, so I wasn't tuned in, but I saw it on my phone a little bit. I was hanging out with Kevin and Tom, and I don't know where we were. We're probably back at my apartment, and I saw some cute pictures of a very young Allison.
Me?
At Disney. Yeah, wasn't it you? Weren't there pictures of you?
They showed my pictures?
Yeah,
I saw part of the show. I didn't see the whole show. So now I have to go back and see.
Yeah. I think you're in there, but it could have been the wine. Could have been. We do have a lot of Allisons on staff. We do. We have Allison, you have you, and we have another Allie. So I don't know. I'll let you know later. I'll watch it again. So I did go to. Let me do this first. I'm going to just go over what's coming up. Kevin, do we have graphics for what's coming up? Tonight, we've been trying to put this together for a very long time. Well, for several weeks, and finally we got it to happen. We are doing a cast member pantry fundraiser tonight. So 9 p.m. tonight, tune in. We will have full cast on there to help raise money for the cast member pantry. I've been asked to do a segment. So even though Locked In with Eric Morton is over at 2-ish today, there will be and Locked In with Eric Morton segment tonight. That'll be at, I'll just read through the times. I think I can tell everybody the times. Tonight, Cast member fundraiser, charity show, 9 o'clock. We'll open up. 9:10, we have a special guest, Jameson St. John. Park Center crew will be on at 9:20. WDWNT Play will be on. The Wolf Den will be doing a segment around 10. Deep in the Plus, 10:15. 10:30 will be locked in with Eric Morton. We will do a Disney death match that everyone has been waiting for, that's been begged for in the chat over the last week. We hinted at it before. A very big, passionate death match that I've set aside for tonight. 10:45, Colleen will be doing some crafting. Ride Rehab at 11. Universal Orlando News Tonight or News Today. UONT will be at 11:10. Cosmic Reed will be spinning tunes at 11:20. And they are bringing back one night only, the map game. That'll be at 11:30 tonight. If you're a Wings member, I think you got to pay. You got to pay to play the map game. It's a fundraiser. It's a charity fundraiser. We will be doing an auction. So I've donated a couple items to the auction. I know to give you there. I've seen a few things that have been donated for this auction. I donated a limited edition Magic Band. No, it has not been worn. I donated the Cinderella puzzle that, yes, it has been assembled. So we have those two items on there. But the Cinderella puzzle, people really want it. It sold out really quick on shopdisney.com. So I was like, you know what? We've finished the puzzle. Who's opposed to having a used puzzle? You know, it's not that gross. So we'll have that on and much more tonight. In addition, then Sunday we have Colleen's Craft Corner. Sunday night, of course, Pressing Issues with Jason Diffendahl and crew. I might be on there. I'm not sure. I haven't figured out if I'm going to be able to be on yet. Tomorrow, I actually play golf for the first time in a few months, so that ought to be interesting.
Nice.
Then we have WDWNT Play on Monday morning, followed by Cosmic Reed Live Monday night at 9 p.m. Graphics Time at 11 on Tuesday. That was really popular. People really liked it, and that one did get preempted by Tom, so they didn't get to finish. So I think from all accounts, that show is going really well. And then Deep in the Plus Live Tuesday at 9 p.m. There'll be more as we go through the week. There will be another episode of Party with Pete. I don't remember. Wednesday will have Park Center. What else will be on Wednesday?
The Wolf Den.
Sure. The Wolf Den. Will be Wednesday. Ow. So tune in. We're looking forward to seeing you guys on all these, especially tonight for the Cast Member Pantry fundraiser. We've been trying to do this for a long time, and finally it's happened, and all the proceeds are going to go to Cast Member Pantry, which is, well, it's a pantry for cast members. So food donations, things like that for cast members who are out of work currently or need a helping hand. Hopefully things will be opening soon, and we can get back to work. I want to talk briefly. I don't have it on my outline. I want to talk just real briefly about Disney Springs. Who else been there? I've been there. I know Eric's been there. Kevin's been there. Allison, have you been to Disney Springs yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. No, we're looking forward to when we can go to Raglan Road. That's my jam.
Yeah, it's not open yet. Not open yet.
Yes, soon, but not yet.
Yeah, I've been to the Boathouse.
I've never been there yet.
Yeah, Chris has not been. It's a long trip from Canada.
Yeah.
No, I've been to the Boathouse, which was fantastic.
Nice.
For lunch, and then last night Wine Bar George was fantastic. George himself came and lit our cheese on fire. That was very exciting. So good to see George. Yeah, they have some kind of, what's it called? And Lee's wearing her headphones. They have some kind of, I forget what it's called. They have some kind of cheese they light on fire. And nice. George lit our cheese on. I didn't know it was George. Someone told me later it was George. But it was fantastic. We got a strip steak there, or skirt steak, I'm sorry. And it was like, I'm telling you, the dish when it came out was 2 feet long, covered in steak on top of like asparagus and potatoes.
Oh my!
It was, and it says it's to feed like 2 to 4 people. I hope so. It was like, I don't know, probably $75, but it's to feed 2 to 4 people. If it more than did its job. So that was wonderful. Had a few bottles of wine. I do owe Pete because one of the bottles of wine got put on his tab that we were all supposed to split. So we'll see how Deathmatch goes before I commit to paying Pete back. Sorry. And social distancing. Oh yeah, hold on. She's telling me what it's called. Saganaki on fire. Saganaki on fire. Wine. Ooh. They will light your cheese on fire tableside for you. It's very exciting. Kills all the coronavirus too. So social distancing wise, most people are being pretty good. And Springs, at least the 2 times I've been, has not been crowded at all. Last night was a Friday night. It was early. We ate early, but we left there by 7:30 or 7:45, and it wasn't crowded. I will say there are some, can I say jackasses? I don't know. There are people who are going in with their mask and immediately removing them and just walking around daring people to tell them to put their masks on.
That's not good.
And I saw several groups of them.
What?
Yeah. I didn't see several. I saw more than one group of them. I saw a few people doing that. So yeah, there's bad people everywhere you go, or people that just don't want to go by the rules. I found a loophole on the mask thing, which is when you're eating and drinking, you're in the restaurant, you're not wearing a mask, but also like I got a beer like from a kiosk and was sitting down and far away from people, but you got to take your mask off to drink a beer, and it's hot. And so I had the mask off to drink a beer. It was hot. But yeah, I want to get a new mask. We have a couple homemade masks. They're fine, but oh my God, are they hot? So someone told me, Kevin had pictures from the American Thread store selling masks that are made out of what he described as like yoga pant material. Is that right, Kevin? Yoga pant material? Like kind of like a, kind of a soft, breathable.
They were like 95% some material that I don't remember what it was, and 5% spandex. So, it was some kind of like, polyester. Well, maybe not polyester, but like, manufactured materials versus like a super hot cotton.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those for like $15 because I want to give it a shot. And apparently masks are part of our deal now. So we don't know when the Disney parks will be opening yet. Universal, like we said, June 5th. Disney hasn't set a date yet, although they did kind of remove everything from the calendar through June 13th. So it probably won't be before June 13th, I would think. And we'll see what happens. The rumor is they've started working on the Tron roller coaster again. We have had sightings of the monorails operating, just probably testing them out, getting the greasing the wheels or whatever they got to do with the monorails to keep them going. And so yeah, we'll see. I guess fingers crossed. But so far, Disney Springs has been pretty good. It's getting in and out was pretty efficient so far. This holiday weekend is probably going to be a tougher test. So we will see what we have. Without further ado, I want to bring on our very special guest today. He is a performer. He is also like, I don't know if cosplayer is the word, but he's like I've seen his Instagram. He does an amazing Joker. He's got all kinds of great costumes. He's a very talented actor. Let's please welcome our guest. Can we see him? We have him, Kevin. Bring him on. It's Rolando Ramos. Some of you recognize him. Some of you may recognize him from Disney Hollywood. Thanks for joining us, Rolando.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah. I'll get this question out of the way quickly. Yeah, I know, right? I'll get this question out of the way quick. So face characters always say like, oh, I'm friends with Cinderella. They never say I'm Cinderella. But you as an actor, and I assume you guys is this an equity gig? You're a professional actor, right? Do you just say that you, do you say I'm friends with Juan Scenario, or do you say I portray Juan Scenario?
I stick to friends just because, we all are in the same boat. So yeah, I say friends once in a while, especially with, Juan it's pretty much me, obviously, but with other characters, I'm definitely friends with them. Yeah,
that's great. I know we're going to have a ton of questions for you today. I want to get some easy softballs out of the way. We just ranked our Disney parks. What is your favorite Disney park?
Well, I'm a little biased, but I love Hollywood Studios. Okay. But that being said, I am also a big Epcot fan. I love walking around the world and getting all the food and the drink and all that, and and Spaceship Earth is still one of my favorite rides. So, we'll see what happens.
Do you get recognized? How often are you recognized when you're walking around Epcot? Yeah.
Every now and then it happens. It usually other cast members actually are the ones who.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I know you. That kind of.
We got recognized at lunch the other day at the Boathouse, and someone picked up our tab. We had a table full of WDWNT personalities. I was there. Eric Wolf was there. Tom Corliss was there, who's probably the one that was recognized as our most visible person. And and Tom was actually in the process of picking up the check. I was like, oh wow, there's a big group of us. That's going to be an expensive check. And the manager came out and she said, your check has been taken care of courtesy of your friends at the Orlando Informer.
Wow.
I was like, I looked around, I couldn't figure out who it was. I don't know if they had already left. I didn't know who they were, but thank you very much for the free lunch. Is wonderful. So yeah, they probably didn't recognize me. They probably recognized Tom. But,
now that I know that people can pick, I'm going to start announcing that I'm here more often. That's fantastic.
What is your favorite ride? Your favorite Disney ride?
Favorite ride, all-time favorite. Ooh, that's a tough question. Well, Haunted Mansion, I think, because it's
I'm right there with you.
Ride is Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are my two. Yeah.
And Pirates close second.
Yeah. You're a man with good taste. So if you could have one superpower, invisibility, flight, or teleportation, which would you choose? I don't know why I asked that question.
I guess I'll go with teleportation and then just go anywhere I need to go. Never be.
Yeah. Into the bank vault, fill up your pockets, out of the bank vault.
Exactly. It's the ultimate fast pass.
Yeah, the ultimate fast pass. All right, those are just the corny questions I wanted to kick it off with. I want to just get into a little bit about you. We're gonna get there, and I'm sure we'll go around. I know Eric and Allison are gonna have a lot of questions because they are huge Citizens of Hollywood fans. I want to say, like, you've been doing this how long? 6 years, 7 years?
I've been at Disney for 6 years now. Six years.
And all of them in your current capacity?
For about 5 of them. So.
Okay. What have you done other Disney cast member? Have you had other cast member jobs?
Yeah, well, I started out with Disney in Holidays Around the World, doing the Three Kings show. That was my first show with Disney. And then from there, I went over to the Hollywood Public Works, which were part of the Citizens of Hollywood once upon a time. And then from there, moved on to the Hollywood Film Crew, which was like a modern day thing. And briefly did the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. Then joined the Citizens. And there I was, and there I've been ever since.
Wow. And so
then
how many citizens? Oh, this is like a two-part question. Like, how many Citizens of Hollywood are there currently? I know there's been a lot, and they've been scaled back at some point. But how many currently are Citizens of Hollywood are there?
Currently, there are a total of, I want to say, 20, but like 10 or 12 full-time, and then the others are subs, and they come in from time to time.
And are you the original friend of Juan Scenario, or was that?
There were no Juan Scenarios before I came along. I was the original.
That's great. And then were you involved in creating the character and like pitching kind of your bio, or how does that work?
Well, we have a director who helps us shape the show. And so when I came over to the Citizens, I had come over as my Hollywood Public Works character, but they were getting rid of that show, so they needed something new for me. And I was like, I want to see what I could do. And so I pitched the idea of being a screenwriter. And then we just kind of played around with what that would be and how that would work in 1947 Hollywood. And we kind of came up with this wonderful little crazy guy named Juan Scenario.
Wow.
How many Citizens of Hollywood were there originally in 1989?
When they opened 30 years ago, when the park opened, there were a lot. Like, I don't know exactly how many, but there were like 30 on the street at any given moment.
Wow.
Like every day. So, and even more, so people could have days off and things like that. So it was a huge cast. It was very, very big. They were everywhere.
It would be interesting to see the timeline of like who came into being when. I'm sure you have kind of a rough idea, but some of these people that you work with have been there for probably since the beginning.
Yeah, some definitely have been there for a very long time. So it's kind of great to see the history of it all. Some folks have been there forever, some are new, and just keep swapping stories and creating a new world. It's really, really cool.
I always wondered if This is stupid. I always wondered if Officer Percival Peabody was original, or when he came in, if he came in after the song OPP came out, and they came up with that, like it's a little secret, like it's OPP, you know.
I gotta ask him that. That sounds very cool. I don't. He was there. He's been there for a very long time. So I wonder if what came first, because that would be interesting.
Yeah. I want to know who came first, OPP, Naughty by Nature, or Officer Percival.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
He also is naughty by nature, to be fair.
Yeah. That's great.
Funny story. I almost had Officer Peabody at my wedding. That was a thing that almost happened. They said that that's nobody's ever requested that for their wedding before, and we're like, I want Officer Peabody to write my guest tickets for like not cheering for the bride enough, or like
elbows on the table.
Yeah. It was very
That's
close,
awesome.
but no.
That would have been great. Is that when you do a Disney fairy tale wedding, is just anything on the table like that? Have you, Rolando, maybe you could tell us, are you familiar with anybody hiring?
I've been involved with a few weddings, and they will make things happen. They'll bring the magic. So it's very cool.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah. Eric Wolf, I know you've been dying to ask questions. I want to hear some of your questions. What do you have?
Well, so I'm a huge Hollywood Public Works fan. And I just wanted to know, like, where did your character Rico come from? Like, because that was the first one that you did for Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh, well, Rico, when I first joined the Hollywood Public Works, he was also a new character, had not existed before. And Rico was basically me imitating my dad. That was my dad. He was a handyman when I was a kid, and that's exactly who he was. He was just this kind of funny, weird, silly guy who was in awe of everything and everyone. And that was it.
That's so good.
Another just kind of random.
Did you grow up in Central Florida, or did you move here later?
I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey. I grew up in the north. Yeah, that's where I kind of got my start. Right across from New York City.
I used to work at the Liberty Science Center in Jersey City.
Right in my backyard, literally. Where I grew up in, Liberty Park was right behind. So there you go.
How funny is that?
And did
I was
you
on
move
the other
here
side
specifically?
You're on one side, I was on the other. That's awesome.
Yeah. Did you move here specifically to audition for talent at Disney, or did you move down with a plan, or did you already been cast when you moved down, or how that worked?
Well, I moved down. I was in New York City. I was that's where I did all my schooling and all my work early on, and I wasn't lighting the world on fire, frankly. So I just needed a change. I was saying, well, Florida, Florida's nice. Disney's there, Universal's there. You should go down there, check it out. You'd be very good down there. And I knew some people who had come down and were doing well down here. So I came down and gave it a shot. Here I am.
What is your background? You have to know some improvisational comedy. You have to have some acting. You have to have a little bit of everything. Where did this come from? Were you always a performer? Were you doing stand-up? Were you doing musical theater? I'm curious how this happens.
Almost the opposite. I went to grad school at the Actor Studio Drama School at Newsfield University. So have you ever seen the show Inside the Actor Studio? That was my class.
Sure.
That was my class. I was going to be a very serious director. I was there as a theater director, and that was going to be my future. I was going to do classic Tennessee Williams and new up-and-coming plays and all that. And on the side, for fun, I would do a little improv or something like that, some comedy, just to blow up steam, late night with friends, that kind of stuff. But that was what I was going to do with my life, is be a serious theater director. And then things happened, and here I am.
You never know. That could still happen. You could still happen.
Sure.
You never know.
You're a huge screenwriter in the 40s. So.
That's right. That's right.
You have friends in high places.
That's true. That's all you need, one good script. Yeah.
I'm looking at Chris. Chris, did you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah. When did you have that kind of moment of realization that you wanted to do kind of the acting and improv thing over the directing side of things?
It was just one of those things that happened. Because I had kind of been doing it for a while. When I was younger, I used to act a lot in shows and everything, and then got into directing. And so it was always something I had in me. And so, when I came down here and started to see what there was, and I kind of came down with the idea of, the Adventurers Club and Comedy Warehouse. And I remember hearing about those shows and thinking, that's where I want to be. I got down here, they were all gone, but that's where I want to be. So I think I'm just coming down here and seeing what improv acting in the theme parks is about, because it's different than being on when you're up close and personal with everyone like that. I thought, that's fun. I think I could do that. I think that would be a lot of fun. And so I auditioned and got in. But yeah, I think it was being down here and seeing it and getting a sense of what it was about. It just kind of made me think I can do that.
Nice.
We should do that. We should do it. We should do our own Streetmosphere for WDWNT. Eric and Allison and Chris would come up with
All
a character.
Yeah. Ready.
Allison, you guys have both done a lot of characters, actually. Allison was a bandit on our Great Movie Ride tribute episode of WDW News Tonight.
Oh yeah.
Eric is friends with a character named Maria, and she's also friends with a robot named Russ. So I'm the only one. I'm the only one who hasn't done any acting on here, I guess. So maybe I have to. Maybe I have to get to, eventually it'll happen. Yeah. It's gonna happen. So what's an average like work day for you then? Are you a full-time performer? You're there like 5 days a week?
Full-time, which is another thing that made Disney very very enticing, because that's a rare thing for an actor to have a 5 day a week
benefits,
year-long
insurance as an actor. Come on.
And and you get to hang out in the theme parks afterwards. I mean, it was a nice, it was very enticing. But yeah, I would do 5 days a week, 5 shows a day, and it's 5 30-minute shows, which are always fantastic. Unless Florida heat is melting you, then you just come in the back of your head and keep going.
You bring the stage along with you wherever you go. You got the sound system with you.
That's the best thing about it is the whole park is your stage, really. Anywhere you go, whether you have a microphone or not, you can make a show anywhere, which is great.
Yeah. Do you and then do you have a favorite show?
Oh, that's good. I love the every of Hollywood contest where we all tell jokes in the Formula of 99. I think that one's a lot of fun because it's kind of teaser kind of thing. You're coming up with jokes, which is a lot of fun. And then get your brain working.
Nice.
Sometimes you fail horribly, which is even more fun.
I have a question kind of in that same vein. I have done different kinds of live shows for my job, like at the Science Center and that kind of stuff, and some other places. And sometimes things are wonderful, and then sometimes something goes rogue or someone goes rogue, and you kind of very quickly, for one reason or another, have to think very quickly on your feet and be like, okay, this is what's happening. Let's turn this back around. Can you think of a situation where something like that happened, where something kind of just went wrong, and how you were able to kind of bring it back?
Ooh, that happens so often. Especially live guests, live entertainment with guests where you're taking suggestions from the audience. Sometimes people forget where they are. And they'll say something like, oh, why did you say that? Uh-oh. And so we have to find a way to spin it back. There's I will give examples of those times, but there have been moments where someone said something a little risque, a little adult, into a microphone, and now we have to then backpedal quickly, get out of it, change subjects, quickly as possible. Everyone heard it. We know they heard it. We got to move on. But it happened.
How often do you have those days where it's hard to get the crowd, to interact? And then what do you do? Maybe if you have a crowd that's not into it, you got to, I assume it happens. You got to kind of drag. You
got to make them get into it.
Yeah. Is there a special technique?
Those days happen, especially in the Florida heat. People get a little tired. They're happy to be there, but really don't want to get involved, and so you kind of have to draw them out and get them involved, and just find a way to get to them somehow.
Find a vulnerable one and embarrass them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, sometimes that's what it takes. And sometimes it just they when you're genuine with people, they'll be genuine with you, and that's usually what we strive to do, is to kind of make a warm, fun place where they can have a good time, and eventually, even the most stubborn person will be like, "Okay, I'll laugh. I'll have a good time." Yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I think Eric has some questions. Maybe do we have some viewer questions yet, Eric?
Yeah, I actually have one from Adam. And let me see, I wrote it down here. Adam wants to know what your favorite memory as a citizen of Hollywood is.
Wow. And there's so many good ones. There are a lot of times where we get a lot of little kids who come in and see us and don't really have never seen anything like this before. Because our style of comedy is kind of an old way of doing comedy. So there are little kids who come in and fall in and are like, wow. Now, one scenario is a character who's bilingual, speaks Spanish and English. And one of my favorite memories, there was a kid, he was from Venezuela, and he didn't speak English at all. But he comes up and he was just interested in what we were doing, and he didn't quite understand. And then I saw him and I kind of heard him say something to someone in Spanish. So I turned to him and said something in Spanish to him. And his eyes just lit up like oh my God. And so then for the rest of the show, throwing things over to him, and he was just so into it. That kid just had a life-changing moment. That's great. That's awesome to be part of that, because we get to do that. You know, we get to have these little moments. That for that kid, that was a great moment, but I remember that kid having a great moment. And that'll be something I'll always remember, that kid's face when I lit up. He was like, oh, like, wait a minute, how did you know? So that's always a nice moment. That's one of my favorite.
I love that. I love that about
seeing something that they.
Yeah, I love that about Juan and about Flora. Like, both of you are bilingual, and you're able to speak to those guests that that don't speak English and don't understand, kind of thing. And actually, talking about Flora, I have a question. Maybe you can answer. So your friend Juan and Flora, their relationship over the years and over time has been, on and off kind of thing. Do you know if they're on right now? On and off. Do you know if they're off?
That's a good question.
Well, they're quarantined from each other, which means they're probably on right now, because they're not married until they. Yeah. But it's another one of those things where people can see themselves in us, and so when we have our crazy arguments, people are like, "Yep, I've had that same argument with my wife or my husband or my girlfriend, or my boyfriend. I've been there," and so that's always a fun moment. We take it to the extreme, of course. We take it to the.
We should have had her on the show. We should have had her on the show. Have a little reunion, a virtual reunion, and see how it went.
Yeah, you wouldn't get a word in edgewise though. We'd start going at it.
There is the other streetmosphere that I can
things
think
to
of.
have a partner like that where you can just go crazy.
Yeah.
Other streetmosphere performers that I can think of would be like the Dapper Dans, I guess, are streetmosphere. The Jamators, the drummers in Africa at the Animal Kingdom. But I would think your closest analog would be the Adventurers Club, right? I mean, everybody's old beloved Adventurers Club was probably the closest thing to Citizens of Hollywood. Are any of the performers former Adventurers Club cast members?
We have quite a few former Adventurers Club who came over when that went away. So it's great to have them, because they are some of the funniest, smartest people I know, and I've learned so much from them. Some of the most amazing performers. Officer Peabody is one of them. He was he was an Adventurers Club guy. And so he brought over that wonderful, wonderful world of the Adventurers. It's just very funny. And I missed it.
Did you ever go?
I wish I could have done.
Had you ever been to the Adventurers Club? Had you been to the Adventurers
I never
Club?
went. By the time I came down, it was already gone. The Springs or downtown Disney at the time had already closed that part off and was beginning its transformation. So I had missed out on that.
Sad. We did
I've seen them since. Together every now and then for special events and marathons and things, and
right.
I just sit there going, "Oh, why not? I wish I could have been there."
Chris, were you saying something?
Yeah. Can you? I just got a question here. So, can you think back to your first show as citizens of Hollywood. The first time you stepped out on the stage into the character and kind of the emotion behind it, or thrill or adrenaline, what was that first experience for you like?
Terrifying. I was so scared. Because there's really not, it's unscripted. I was part of the Hollywood Public Works when I first started. And so they had a skeleton of a script. They had a beginning, middle, and end. But you're just going out there, and it was basically like, all right, go get them. It's up to you now. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was very scary. It was very scary. But the cast was amazing. Or they make sure I felt comfortable, and if they saw me drowning, they would come and throw me a life preserver. So they were good. But I was definitely terrified. And it's such a history too. So many people grew up with Streetmosphere at studios, and so they know it really well. They know what to expect, and you walk out there and you feel that pressure of like, I better be good. Oh, so yeah, very, very terrifying.
I want to ask another stupid question about being recognized. Have you ever gone out with your castmates and you get recognized? They're like, those 4 people, I saw those 5 like together and at Hollywood Studios today. And now they're at the Ale House, eating cheese fries together, or something like that. Like,
yeah. It has happened.
It has
happened where the citizens of Hollywood after hours have been sitting around Baseline Tap House or something, and no one's like, I know them. So yeah, it definitely happens. People are usually cool, but you can see the like, oh, I think that's them over there. Yeah, so it's always fun. It's like, oh, I think they're recognized.
Like, so you still hang out
because they completely transform. But I just take off my hat. I think people in my face. You can't hide this face.
You like to hang out in the parks, though, right? I mean, you still go to the parks and enjoy Disney, or yeah. Okay, definitely. That's good. Yeah. Some people I know a performer who, she's very talented and stuff, but she just wasn't into the park. She's like, I want to go there. I want to sing my songs, and I want to, go home. And I get it, right? Some people are just, it's not their thing, or maybe they've just been doing it for a long time and they're tired of it, or they have, who knows? But it's good to know that you still have like a little passion and fire for the parks experience, and it's not ruined for you.
Yeah, well, early on when I first started at Disney, I did a few media events for Disney where they would hire us to kind of talk about the parks. And they said, and so when I did that, the director of that said, well, you should be familiar with the parks. As a Disney performer, we can call you in here. You may need to talk about it, so you should. And I was like, what, you're telling me that I should go to a theme park for my job? Okay.
Yeah, can I clock in first?
I can try to stay up to date. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just reminded, I did look at your Instagram a little bit before the show or earlier this week, and it almost looked like at one point you had done some kind of gig where you were the guy that in my logo who's locked in a cell. Is that correct? I saw something about how people would hand you keys.
What is
so you've been like me. You've been locked in.
The Pirates of the Caribbean. That was the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, I was inside the jail cell. And people actually started giving me keys, which is crazy. Literally sit there begging for the key to get out, and then people started to give me the keys. Don't know where they got these keys. They were giving me keys. It was crazy.
I've seen somebody in there before. I try to remember if it was a special event or what. It might have been during the Halloween party.
Halloween.
Yeah, for the Halloween. Not so scary Halloween party.
I have to remember to bring a key. I have to bring a key next time.
Get me out of that finally.
Now that I know what it's like.
Yeah, that's
my
another
dog still won't give me the keys. Yeah, that is my dog there.
Don't trust the dog.
In her mouth. So she can be bribed, but she's tough when she has keys in her mouth. Do we have any more questions from the viewers, Eric?
I got one.
All day.
Let's see here. I got one from actually our own Jilly. Wants to know. She wants to know what joke you consider the most iconic or funniest for the 99 jokes you have ever heard.
Oh man, that's tough. The most iconic 99 joke.
There has to be one that had you cracking up when you went off stage. You were still laughing about that somebody.
Right, like Juan even broke.
There are just that every now and then someone tells a joke that is just like, where did that come from? That is just crazy. because we are coming up with them on the spot. And there are a few that you remember and you just kind of retell, but usually someone will throw something out there, a suggestion that's like something you've never heard, and now you're doing the brain game to figure it out. It's tough to say what's the iconic one, because there's just so many that are just so stupid and funny and dumb and just make me giggle every time.
Yeah, but you don't get put on the spot as much as in 99s. You're usually kind of the moderator, right? You're not having to come up there and
yeah, it's kind of funny. I end up having to be the guy who hosts the thing a lot more. Not because sometimes it's just luck of the draw, but yeah, I try to play as often as I can. But some people like to play, some people like to host, and I just try to be available for either, whatever works.
do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's part of the show, that we all kind of are, making it happen. Whatever needs to happen, we make it happen. So that's the fun part of it, not being scripted. We could just decide, all right, you're hosting, you're in it. We're going to do this, change it up. It's fun.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding that.
Oh, yeah. Mark Tyler's question too. Eric, I think Tyler has a question we'll do after Allison.
Tyler, okay.
Yeah, Tyler has a question in chat.
I'm curious about the Citizens schedule, because it's never actually on the schedule for Hollywood studios. And anytime I ask a cast member, they're usually here in the mornings. They're usually in this area. So one of my questions was, can you let us know what the actual schedule is? And then the other one is, how is it decided what skits are done when?
Right now, I don't know what our schedule will be, because the Citizens, because we are such a free-form troupe, we can fit in wherever the park needs us. So when Galaxy's Edge was opening, they knew they needed us at a certain time of day where there would be people waiting around to be able to get into the park. So that was the time that they moved us to. So we're very flexible. We try to just be wherever they need us. So we're usually 30-minute shows, 5 of them, spread out throughout the day. Usually we're earlier, just because once it gets darker, it's tougher to do shows out on the street.
Well, also it's Florida, and in the afternoons it rains a lot, and so when it's raining, you guys can't perform.
We can't. Yeah, we're usually inside the stores or inside the tower or somewhere like that. So we set ourselves wherever the park needs us, and so we'll see what that means in the future. I don't know exactly what our schedule will be. But usually we've been starting around 9 o'clock and going till 3 o'clock, usually. But that could change.
Do with a mask. Yeah, you might have to do with a mask for a while now.
Yeah, I think we're going to set every movie that we're making in outer space so we could all wear bubbles. That would be fun. That's another thing we're going to have to figure out how that works. But we'll see. And then how we decide is usually in the morning we all get together and have a nice big meeting where we discuss what we're going to do for the day, and we all pair off and we decide we're doing a big show here or another show here. 2 people are going over there, 2 people are going, and we kind of map out. We have like a big map of the park and say, okay, you 2 are going to be here, you 2 are going to be there, boom, 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 and just kind of set up what we're doing, where we're doing it, what we need. If you need a car, need a certain prop or something like that, and our wonderful technicians take care of that for us. And that's how we set it up. And so we all decide in the morning what we're doing, and hopefully it doesn't rain and ruin our chances to do those things.
So is there a director?
But that's how it is.
Is there a director at every performance? Like, is there a director we don't see? It's hidden in the crowd or off in a distance, critiquing each performance and telling you guys which thing you're doing, or is this
usually we don't see them either? They try to be very sneaky.
They get you on a bad joke. They get you on a dirty joke.
Yeah, our director pops in. Yeah, they pop in from time to time.
Tyler had asked in the chat, and Tyler's one of our staff members. Very talented Tyler. He made my graphic. He makes videos and graphics for us. He said one of his friends would walk by Streetmosphere multiple times until they interacted with him. How do you deal with people that try to make it about them or try to be funnier than you? I imagine it happens quite a bit, actually.
It happens. Usually, if you kind of, I usually acknowledge them quickly, let them have their moment, and then make it clear that they're done now. That's just the easiest way. Have your moment, tell your joke, great, here's a better joke, now leave. That's usually how I do it. Because that's, at the end of the day, everyone just wants their moment. They just want to have their moment, and I'm not going to take that away from anybody. So I'm like, go ahead, have your moment, great, moving on. if they get too annoying, then we have to get a little more like, okay, now you're rude. Luckily, I've never had the point where something gets inappropriate. But
yeah. No, you're clearly passionate about this. You're clearly passionate about it, but it seems like your true passion is the Joker. Like your Instagram, like so many Joker photos. That's your other life. That's amazing.
That's my other life. That's where I blow off steam.
Yeah.
Juan has to be nice. Joker doesn't.
So you go to events and things like that dressed it. Well, there's various costumes on Instagram, but like the Joker seems to be like your main thing. What is that?
The Joker.
Was that something you've just always done, or was there a particular moment that you decided like I want to do the Joker as good as I can do the Joker?
I've been cosplaying for about 13, 14 years now. So it's been a while. And it was one of those where I had put it together for a Halloween costume, and then there was a comic book convention, and I was told people dress up, and I was like, all right, I'll put the Halloween costume back on and go to the convention. And it was a hit, and I was like, and I liked it. It was a lot of fun. And so from then on, I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to really do this. And you're a
good Joker. I gotta say, you're an awful good Joker. It's good. Not a Disney property. Not a Disney property.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. They haven't bought it yet.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe.
I'm sure it's coming.
But it's a lot of fun. I love going to conventions and dressing up, and it's a whole different world, and it's a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never done that, but it's fun. I did my first time wearing a costume in a park. We went as the stretching room portraits for the Halloween party last year. So I got to be the guy with striped underwear. That was fun. Good time.
That's a good costume.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's comfortable, you know. It's comfortable. Eric, do we have anything else in the chat right now? I know you guys have tons of questions.
Not in the chat, but I do have one for you. I'm going to take it back to Hollywood Public Works. I do know that was normally like 3 people. And it was one big and then like 2 smalls kind of thing. That was the kind of ratio. Did you ever play like the big, or was Rico always just like a small in that scenario?
Rico was he was what we call the adaptable one, the one in the middle. So if you think of Larry, Moe, and Curly are the traditional trio of comedy. Curly's your crazy one. Moe is your boss, and Larry was in the middle. Sometimes he was kind of like a boss. Sometimes he was kind of crazy, depending on what the scene needed. That's where Rico lived. He lived right in that middle Larry Fine place. So nice. He rarely got to be boss, but he mostly got to be crazy and in the middle. So yeah, but I did get a chance to be boss. Rico,
nice.
Which was silly and weird and fun.
Do you miss that role?
It was a very physical role. It was a lot of fun, slapstick comedy kind of stuff, and I do miss that aspect of it. It was very funny and just visually a fantastic show. We had a big truck, and we were throwing cones and measuring the street, and we had water guns, water hoses and stuff that would shoot each other. It was a lot of fun and just a big physical spectacle of a show, which I really love doing. I miss that part of it. That was a really fun. I like Juan a little more. If Rico was my dad, Juan is an exaggerated version of me. So I think I'm more comfortable, but I enjoyed the big craziness of the Hollywood Public Works. That kind of Three Stooges.
How often does your family get to come down and see you perform? And what do they think? Especially when you're basing when you had a character that's based on your father.
And I remember my sister was like, wow, that's dad, isn't it? I'm like, yep. Yes, it is. They got it instantly. They're like, yep, that's dad. Yep. They try to come down at least once a year if they can. Usually around the holidays, we'll have the my brother lives down in South Florida, so they'll come down and we'll all get together and do a big park day and come see the show. And so they try to come down at least once a year and catch up.
Allison, you looked like you had a question.
So I know that you had mentioned sort of a really great moment for you was when there was the individual that was, I think you said from Venezuela, that you're able to speak Spanish with him. Are there any other magical moments that you can think of while during your time working at the Disney parks?
Yeah. Oh, we've got quite a few magical. It's kind of fun because in a way, you don't realize you're in a magical moment sometimes until after the fact, and someone sends in a letter and says, this was a thing that happened, or this person had a terrible day. There was a day where I just randomly picked on a couple and brought them up, and we had a lot of fun. And then it turned out they had just lost a child, and I didn't know that. And they sent me a message later on saying, thank you. We were really down and out, and interacting with the citizens of Hollywood helped us so much. And it's like, I didn't know. I was just being silly. I was just grabbing two people that looked like they wanted to play, and there it is. So it's one of those, I didn't know I was in a magical moment, but apparently I was, and that's a cool thing. So,
wow. You never know.
That's good.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know what's going on in someone's life, and then you hopefully give them a little smile, and that can make all the difference. So
Yeah.
That's great.
There was a couple more questions I saw. Gray Horizon said,
there we go.
yeah, that what would you want to do as a dream if you weren't a citizen of Hollywood or the Joker? he said, or the Joker.
Or the Joker.
You could be the Joker in the next Batman reset, whatever this one's going to be.
I would gladly do that. That would be great. Citizens have been such a dream role. I really enjoyed it. I have like my Disney checklist that I'm trying to go through and make sure I get, and I have yet to do anything Star Wars related, like majorly Star Wars related. I've been like a Star and that kind of stuff, but I haven't been a Jedi or a bounty hunter. So if they want to put me in a Mandalorian costume or carrying a lightsaber, I would not say no.
Oh,
Not even a little.
nice.
That's on my list. I've been a pirate. I've been a ghost. I haven't been a Jedi yet. So we can do that. That would be great.
That's so
Which
cool.
version of the Joker is your favorite so far? That came from Shorn Force in the chat.
Oh, my favorite. Well, I think the one that I kind of grew up with and was the one that is deep in my heart is Mark Hamill's version from Batman the Animated Series. That is, I think, my all-time favorite. The one that kind of sticks with me forever. The cartoon Joker, yeah.
Now, when you're cosplaying the Joker, do you do like a funny voice? Do you do like?
I do. I start to go into that Joker voice and go a little crazy. Yeah. Yes.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, definitely. Because you're wearing the costume, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to go for it. You're already 90% there. Just go the rest of the way.
Yeah. I was destined to be the Joker with this big mouth. So
we do a break at 12:15 every week. But if you want to hang out through the break, you're more than welcome to. You want to do some more questions? Oh, Chris has a question. Chris does drop off at 12:15. So.
Yeah, before we went to the break, I just wanted to say this has been a lot of fun. Rolando, thank you so much for joining us. We learned a lot, and I'm going to watch the rest of the show on a replay. This has been really cool, and I can't wait to see you down there next time. And then to Eric as well, thanks for doing this show the last 10 weeks. It's been a lot of fun doing this. Locked in.
It's been fun.
You know what? I mean, I'm sure something else will materialize, but I don't like getting up on Saturday mornings, but this gives me like a super fun reason to. And like Eric, Allison, everyone on the show, this has been a lot of fun. So I will miss it. And thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. And we'll have you'll be in a video we have at the end of the show. So if you watch the show a little later, once you're done, there's a little video at the end of our show today.
Right.
Just another little teaser. So, anyway, Chris is going to be dropping off. Pete Carney will be joining us when we come back, hopefully. And we're going to go to a commercial. Before we do, I just want to remind everybody about the WIGS. That's our WDWNT Interglobe Society. That's the way you can support our organization on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/WDWNT. You can join for as little as $2 a month. There's post shows, bonus content. We're sending a lot of high definition scans of iconic old vintage park stuff to people. There's all kinds of reasons to be a WIGS member. Check it out. Like I said, as little as $2 a month. What have you got to lose? except $2, and $2 can't buy you anything at Disney, so you might as well give it to us. No, and then we have super chat donations. If you're having a good time with our content we've been producing, and you want to donate super chats, most of you are probably saving them for the death matches or for our charity auction tonight. You can always do a super chat in the that's on the YouTube chat, so don't try to do it from Facebook; it won't work. There's a $ in YouTube chat. You click it, and I don't know, you link it to an Apple Pay account or something like that, and you can toss us a couple bucks, do a super chat. So anyway, we'll be back in just a few moments. You're watching Locked In with Eric Morton.
From the people who brought you the Disney Parks Home Edition, we now present the 2020 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, Eric's Apartment Edition. It may be dreary in quarantine for millions of people around the world, but in Eric's apartment, spring is alive. From the comfort of your own home, or from 6 feet or more away if you are deemed an essential employee of the apartment, we will bring you videos of this stuff. And whatever these are. And don't forget these things with the towels. You can even catch a glimpse of our experiments gone wrong. We truly have it all. Plastic plants, dead plants, plants from IKEA, and even plants that have been watered sometimes. And don't forget about our event-exclusive merchandise. Next, spoil yourself before you soil yourself with exclusive food and beverage items from our bare cupboard quarantine selection, like this refreshing vodka with Crystal Light offered at our patio kiosk. Or let your imagination run wild, creating concoctions with Fireball, rum chata, and chocolate liqueur in the office. Our mixologists aren't done blowing your minds yet. Check out our bourbon mixed with ice creations in the master bedroom. And don't forget beer people left behind at our last gathering over at the bookshelf. Outside the guest room, our straight tequila shots will have you wondering if this whole quarantine was just a dream. And of course, be transported far away with wine from all 3 regions of the apartment. Over in the kitchen, our chefs are working on some truly groundbreaking cuisine, like our famous 2-day-old Rotel Day. Have we teased your appetite enough? Then try some of our delicious frozen treats, which include Hot Pockets and ice cream from last Christmas. Finally, get ready to rock out at our Garden Rocks concert series, featuring Butters, whose mom is friends with a woman who used to run a live music venue where ELO once played. You may know her from her hits such as Mr. Pooh Sky and Last Train to Barksville. We have all this and more at the 2020 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, Eric's Apartment Edition, where the magic is on hold until further notice.
Pressing Issues is the spin-off of the WDW News Today podcast segment as a long-form panel discussion in which some of the brightest minds of WDWNT analyze the biggest stories of the week and their impact on the Walt Disney Company, its parks, guests, and cast members. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or afterward on the WDW News Today podcast feed.
Four panelists, 30 minutes, 1 week in Disney Parks news. This is Parks Center. On Parks Center, the panel and I cover the top 7 Disney Park stories of the past week. From attraction news to transportation scandals to new food and merchandise, we'll cover it all in 30 minutes or less. You can watch us stream live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. at WDWNtunes.com. Watch episodes on demand at youtube.com/WDWNT, or subscribe to the audio version of the show on your favorite podcast app.
Nearly everyone loves Italian food, but those people who love a true, authentic Italian come to me at a Tony's Town Square Cafe. I, Tony Ragu, have been offering home-cooked food from the province of Toledo here at the Magic Kingdom for almost 30 years. If you're trapped inside in a quarantine, why not take a night off from cooking and order from us? We now offer takeout and delivery options. I never thought working a microwave would be considered an essential business during a global crisis, but what are you going to do, eh? All of Tony's favorites are available. The chicken parmesan, spaghetti and meatballs, empanadas, the canine crunchies, you name it. Now there's some things you need to know. Postmates is going to tell you that you can order from our theme park location, but you actually got to come to my warehouse on an Orange Blossom Trail. If you go to the Magic Kingdom, the cops, they're going to stop you. It's okay if they do, though. Just drop on my cousin Vinny's name, Vincenzo Ragu, and they're going to let you through. He's a judge up in Westchester. They know who he is. If you choose a pickup, the food is going to be put in your trunk just to make sure you move any baseball bats, cement blocks, bowling bags, so we can lay the food flat. The food is going to be frozen, so don't worry about it getting cold on the way home. So I have what the Uber Eats app is calling Italian food, Tony's Town Square, now available for delivery or pickup. It usually tastes like it's from the road. Now it's made to travel on it. Mangiare!
And we're back. Brought Butters out to say goodbye to everybody. Butters, say bye. Her last episode.
Bye, Butters.
So maybe we'll get her on sometime. I don't know. We'll see. But she's very sad to be losing all of her fans. Well, she was not losing the fans. But she's just it's more see you later to the fans. So Butters wanted to pop in and say hello and wish everybody a happy Saturday. And set her down. All right, so we are back. We said goodbye to Chris Reed there. We have our panel back. Allison is here. Eric Wolf is here. We summoned them earlier. We have Rolando Ramos, the world famous, the friend of the world famous screenwriter, Juan Scenario. And now we have the world famous Pete Carney in the house. Hello, Pete.
Hey.
You're muted.
Can't hear you, Pete.
Pete and that mute button. It wouldn't be a show without the mute button. We gotta figure it out, Pete.
Allison, can I just say that I love that you have everyone's like business card.
Oh, Kevin.
I do. I have his business card. So it says Juan Scenario, Hollywood's greatest screenwriter, and then there's some fine print all the way at the bottom that says, "That's my story, and I'm sticking to it."
Wait to read the fine print.
That's it.
So is Pete fixed now? Can we talk to Pete now?
No.
No, the first one was Kevin's fault.
Poor Pete.
Well, hopefully we get this sorted out.
It's like a silent film.
It is.
Yeah,
if only Juan Scenario was here to direct this. It would be amazing.
Come on, kid.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there he is going down the elevator.
Oh, there's Tyler. Hi, Tyler.
I'm not a logo.
Tyler.
And I'm in like cinematic widescreen too.
Yeah, I don't know the aspect ratio there, but we'll see what we can do. We're making Kevin work overtime here, so I apologize, Kevin. Pete is now stuck in a box.
Uh-oh.
Wrong way. There we go.
So hopefully we'll get the audio sorted out. We'll let Kevin fight one battle at a time. I don't know. I think it first was on Kevin's side. They tried to correct it, which probably was counteracted by Kevin fixing it on his side. And we'll eventually hear you, Pete. I promise. Help, Pete.
You might want to restart it. I don't know.
Turn it off and on again. Oh, he did.
Does this work?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. There you go. I
yeah.
heard you.
It works. We're in.
Yeah. Pete's back. Hello, Pete.
Good afternoon, everyone. Siva Ko, happy to see everyone. What a glorious Saturday.
I want to introduce you to Rolando Ramos. You may recognize him.
I do recognize him from Disney's Hollywood Studios, I believe. Mr. Ramos, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And then this is Tyler Mann. Tyler is our graphic.
Hello. Nice to meet
Hi,
you,
Tyler. Nice to meet you as well.
Oh, hi, Pete.
Thanks. We're all here.
We have
It's
like a
great.
Brady Bunch
Final
moment happening
episode.
here.
It's final episode. I'm glad that we could kind of get a lot of the people. Tyler's been a participant in the show a lot. I'm glad to see. It's good to see everybody. We have been talking to Rolando about his experiences being closely connected to the citizens of Hollywood. At the same time, we kind of did a recap earlier today, went through some things, and we'll talk. I'll talk to you, Pete, about Disney Springs a little bit later. Last night got a little out of control.
I hope it was up late last night. I was impressed.
Yeah, we left Wine Bar George and came, for some reason, we all came back to my apartment, and it seemed like the drinks were cheap. So I might do it again sometime.
I wish I could have gone. If I didn't have pre-existing plans, I would have been there partying with you guys.
Yeah, I know. So it was a good time had by all. Pete and Tyler, I'm sure you guys have questions for Rolando. I don't want to turn the whole thing into just us peppering Rolando with questions, because I'd like him to be able to interact with us just as a member of our team, so to speak. But do you have any questions, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I guess out of the gate, I have a two-parter. Like, one, how did you get the position of Mr. Juan Scenario, and then how long have you been in that field? How long have you been in the improvisational performing world before starting at Hollywood Studios?
Okay. Well, I got the position of Juan Scenario through being in other positions. So I had left the Hollywood Studio film crew and was brought over to the Citizens of Hollywood, and I left the Public Works to join the film crew. And I had auditioned for the Public Works. So technically I got the Public Works, and that got me all the way here. I guess
gotcha. So that initial audition carried through to where you are now.
Yes. Yeah. Because Disney's really good at collecting talent. There's a lot of talent down here in Central Florida, and Disney likes to collect them and keep them and have them ready to go, because they use them and love to have talent. And I love to be here as part of Disney's talent pool. So once you're kind of in the family, there are people like, hey, remember that guy? Let's bring him over here now, or let's move him over there, or maybe he could do this. And so that's a thing. And they always have open auditions. If you want to get considered for something else, you always can. But yeah, so that's how I made my way to where I am.
How long have you been doing? How long have you been performing or doing improvisation in your life before starting with Disney?
I've been performing for a very long time. I've been a working actor since I was 17 years old.
Wow.
But I've been doing improv in this kind of thing, which is a little different than stage improv, the streetmosphere kind of improv. Just at Disney, it's really where I kind of learned that way of doing improv, being up close and personal.
Cool. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, by the way. You were trained at the Actors Studio. Did you ever meet James Lipton, hang out with James Lipton? Go party with him a little bit?
He was the dean of the school. I met him many times. He would invite us all to go see screenings or to go see a show or something. So we'd all kind of get to go with him as his entourage to go see stuff. Because it was a small program. I was there as a director, and there were only when all was said and done, like 5 of us. So he'd pop into class and be like, hey, go see a movie. I don't think James Lipton liked me very much. I think he thought I was weird. He was right. I was weird.
Oh, no.
But yeah.
I can just picture you pass on the hallways and you say, what turns you on? What are all those questions he'd ask in an interview? Like, what turns you on? What turns you on?
Yes. Well,
I like Will Ferrell's version of James Lipton.
Yeah, I was about to
say. It was not far off either. I think Will Ferrell kind of nailed it. It wasn't far off at all.
Now, Tyler, you asked the question when you were in the chat earlier, but did you have any more questions that you thought we could talk to Rolando about? Okay.
I mean, we have a Canadian theme park here, and I've also done like the improvised acting stuff, especially like at nighttime when people are drunk, because it's like Halloween and they just want to try and be funnier than you and stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure. Is one scenario the one that normally has a video camera and then is like dictating what people are doing as they walk by, or am I thinking of a different character?
You're thinking Oscar Meyer-Weiner, who's our director. He's the director, and so he has the camera and directs. Well, yes, that's. I think that was his card. Yes,
that was what my friend was when I was referring to in the chat before. He would just keep walking back and forth in front, and I'm like, come on, like let's go. Like he's not gonna do it. You're forcing it.
That does bring up a good question, though.
And sometimes it's like, okay, you want this too much. You keep going now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you have guests who you are a little overeager, or if you have a situation where they're trying to either steal the show or they're taking it too far. Do you come across that often, or how do you deal with that as well?
It shuts them down.
You shut it down as best you can. I try to give them their moment. It was actually worse as a pirate. During Pirates of the Caribbean, people would get a little more raunchy because you're a pirate, so they want to be pirate-like. You're still at Magic Kingdom. What are you doing?
Come on. There's a lot more bars in Hollywood studios. They have bars everywhere. I call it like it's like a nice wedding. They're just bars rolled out, tucked along the street. So I'm sure at Magic Kingdom that surprises me because people you would think a little more magical, a little more family friendly over the Magic Kingdom, compared to Hollywood studios.
Yeah,
I think that might be the scary part.
Now, Tyler, were you at Canada's Wonderland?
Yes, during Halloween Haunt.
I've been there. I went there when I was a kid.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was like,
it's a lovely
it was nice. I liked it, but I mean,
to what people are calling a Canadian theme park.
Yeah. It may not be. It may not still be this because I went. It was a very long time ago, but they were had It was like based on Hanna-Barbera characters.
Yeah, the
so
park was originally Hanna-Barbera. It had we even had the motion simulator that was at Universal. I forget what it was called. It had Yogi Bear trying to save Elroy from Dastardly Dick. I completely blanking on the name of it, but we had it over there as well. Now it's Snoopy themed. Every Cedar Park is Snoopy.
Snoopy
I actually did have a question.
Oh, it's the Cedar Fair Park. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Cedar Fair now. It used to be Paramount, but then they got bought out because Paramount had no money. But yeah, I did have a question, which was I don't know if this was asked before, but if you how do you rehearse? If there is any kind of rehearsal? I know with improv you have some idea of how a game works or what makes an improv game funny, for example. But do you guys have some base kind of script, or do you hang out backstage and figure stuff out, or is it just all completely done on stage?
Yes, and yes. we do get together and a little bit. When you start off with the Citizens or any improv group, you rehearse more. So get knowledge and who you are and how you exist. That's pretty much the rehearsal process, is getting to know who you are and who your castmates are, all the characters, the world, all the things that are specific to the time period, all of that. And then when it comes to certain bits, there are some that are kind of, exist and have a beginning, middle, and end. So you learn the beginning, middle, and end, and then you fill in the rest when you're on the street. So that's pretty much... The rehearsal is kind of talking through, remember, we start here and then this happens, and in the end we have to do that. Okay.
You got to learn on the streets.
And then the rest you learn it on the mean streets of Hollywood.
We actually have found a photograph of Eric Wolf encountering you. Do you have that, Kevin?
Oh, I'm excited about this.
Look at this. Look at these.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, yes. That's great.
I remember that.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Two young.
I finally found it. I was like, oh yeah, there we go. And this was actually at Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, I remember that. Back in their old space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
That's beautiful. That's going to be my new desktop background.
Back then.
That's perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was another question that I think.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I think it was Tyler that asked it about if there's ever a time where it was you broke character or were very close to breaking character.
It happens. It does happen. Every now and then something just so dumb will happen that just makes you start laughing and you get the giggles. And you just can't help it. And it's really tough when you work with some of the funniest people ever and they just do something and you don't expect it and they get you. Good. It happens. It happens a lot. If you ever see me suddenly covering, you know.
At this point, I don't want to wrap up Q&A. Let's keep the questions flowing, but I want to do, will you do a couple segments with us where we vote on Disney attractions and things like that? So this isn't the end of the segment, but I want to make sure that I don't forget to toast the citizens of Hollywood, the current ones, the former ones, the ones that have gone on, the ones we've lost. Here's to the citizens of Hollywood. Cheers.
You're here.
I don't
all right. We have this segment. We have a segment we call Disney Deathmatch.
Yes.
We're going to kick it off now with a very amazing graphic designed by our own Tyler Mann. Let's have it, Kevin.
Disney Deathmatch!
I heard it. I didn't see it.
Disney Deathmatch!
There we go. Disney Deathmatch.
Who is shouting?
So
Who's the one that's actually saying it?
That's me. I did Disney Deathmatch, and then I'm also the train of thought, Toot Toot, and Jumble Cruise Jumble.
Some of the sounds and voices of our most beloved graphics. Tyler Mann.
Love it.
The voice from the Great White North.
Nothing says a great graphic like sound.
The premise of this segment is that we are forced by the big shots, let's just call them Bob Chapek, to eliminate Disney attractions, and we put them head to head against each other. There can be only one. Sometimes it might be a 1v1 matchup. Sometimes it's a free for all with three of them, but there can be only one. We will show what the matchup is, then we will discuss it on the panel. Then the panel will vote. Panelist votes are worth 2 points. Then we'll send it off to the viewers. Their votes are worth 1 point. And then we will see which attraction stays and which attraction goes, or they're not always attractions. That could be, we've gotten rid of restaurants. We've gotten rid of hotels. We've gotten rid of all kinds of stuff. Don't worry. Don't take it personally if we get rid of your favorite thing, but we're going to start with our first Disney Deathmatch now. Let's see what we have today. What have we been presented with? Mines.
Oh. Wait, what?
Mine?
We have a mine.
That's so great. Mine.
We have the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train versus Big Thunder Mountain versus Finding Nemo. I
have a question out of the gate.
Yeah.
Can it be any version of Big Thunder Mountain, or does it have to be the one in Florida?
Yeah, and make it. We're at the Magic. We're in Florida. Let's do Florida.
All right. Sorry. You make the rules. I just need to know what they are. We're talking about death here. I mean, I'd like you to be a little more decisive. We're losing these attractions, Eric.
So let's kick off the discussion. Let's start with Pete Carney in that bottom corner.
All right, so we're doing it like every week. We do a discussion first, then we come back around and vote, correct?
Discuss, then vote, then open to the view.
So this is a tough one. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, great family attraction, fun for adults and children alike. You get roller coaster, then you get a really cool indoor scene. It's got a great queue when you used to be allowed to touch things.
That's going away.
It's fun to bring my nieces and nephews on and watch their face. You get a cool animatronics, a nice scene at the end. But then you have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, a classic, a ride that is Walt Disney, in my opinion. No IP attached to it, just a great theming in the queue in the attraction. The goat with the dynamite in his mouth has become a legend, and super fun. More fun, I think, than Seven Dwarfs, and more thrilling as for me personally. And then, I mean, Finding Nemo and those guys outside, what a riot. I love it. They're tons of fun. And where else do you get to go under the sea? I mean, I guess you get to do it at Ariel's ride as well. Damn. So I guess I'm not going to probably – it's really between the first two for me, but I'm going to leave my vote for the next –
You can also go underwater now on the Jungle Cruise if you're there on the right day.
That is true. Now boats are going under the sea as well.
All right, Tyler, let's hear your analysis of this matchup.
This one, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry for me. Like, I mean, I love Mine Train. I think it's a lovely, charming, family coaster. It's rare to have like a coaster that's not too intense, but is still like super fun, even if you're like a thrill seeker. And I like the indoor portions, but you know, Big Thunder also has indoor portions as well. And yep. I mean, if you know the story of Big Thunder, like there is a big story to it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, anytime I can go on a coaster that has like 3 lift hills, I'm super amazed by that, because that's always super fun. Like you forget how long Big Thunder is until you're on it, and you're like, oh, we're only at lift hill number 2. Like, yeah, it's also like, I've been on a lot of coasters. It's a really smooth coaster. Yeah. Like it for how old of a ride it is. It's surprisingly, like, for a Mine Train coaster, a lot of them are rickety as heck. This one is like surprisingly smooth, but still like throws you around in your seat a bit, which is like the fun of a mine type coaster. But
I forgot that point. Oh, can I just say, like, the seating? I'm a big man. Trying to fit into the seats on Mine Train as opposed to Big Thunder, where, you know, it's a bigger seat, but if you're sitting next to a stranger, I have slid right into somebody and crushed person, and I feel really bad if you're watching. I'm so sorry for crushing you. But man, that is another great point Tyler makes.
Yeah, seating. Allison.
So for are just the seagulls up for the chopping block, or is it
no, it's the whole
with
attraction.
Nemo and Friends?
The whole attraction.
Okay. Oh, that's a big difference.
It's the whole attraction, and I haven't even thought this through. Are we going to wipe out the whole pavilion? Are we going to wipe out?
Yeah. Whoa!
Yeah, because that's a whole other story.
I thought it was just the ride.
Let's just do the ride. Let's just do the ride.
Okay.
Don't get rid of my turtle talk.
It's not fair to wipe out a whole. No. Make a bunch of homeless manatees and sharks.
It's the second largest saltwater aquarium in the country.
That is true. It used to be
you can
the
take
biggest.
all that water and fill up Spaceship Earth twice. You want more fun facts? You get them.
Pete Carney, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Alice.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So one of these attractions is a super classic, but you can get this attraction and many other Disney parks around the world. It's Big Thunder Mountain, by the way. For Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, it's lovely. I feel like a lot more younger kids and those that are not used to roller coasters feel a bit more comfortable going on this particular attraction, so it's a little bit more widely appealing. It does have an incredibly long wait time, like all the time. It has not fluctuated. It has not gone down, which is very frustrating. Those little seagulls, they crack me up every time I go and I see them, but I know that the cast members that are there, not hear them now.
If someone's just joining us, they have no idea what this connection is, what the hell we were talking about.
I promise I don't have any seagull pops. That wasn't coming from me.
That would be amazing.
Kevin really has nowhere, because we have 6 panelists. He doesn't have anywhere to put the graphic, really, to show people what match.
That's close. It's very close.
Kevin, I'll scrunch down, and you just put it right above me.
Yeah, just put it above Tyler's head.
Just put it right here.
But I feel like the cast members outside might be a little bit sick of them. I don't know if they're getting sick of them or if it just kind of blends into the background after a while.
Think about this. Can you imagine being a cast member that's worked outside and listened to that all day? Mine. And then they go, hey, we're moving you to the unload area of Journey into Your Imagination, where they just blare "Imagination."
What's wrong with that?
I just think it might get old after a while.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't
Taylor. I
know.
can't see you.
I can't. Sometimes it could. I
don't
feel like
think the
after a
graphics
while,
matter.
it's just background noise, and you don't notice it after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my argument for. Those are my points for the 3 attractions.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Eric Wolf. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Oh man. So yeah, like 2 of these attractions I actually really like. I like all of them. I won't say 2 of them. I like all of them, but 2 of these attractions are in the exact same park, and I like it in the same park because I feel like they're in like this kind of tiered list, or actually they're in this leveled list.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh, Eric Wolf.
Oh, Eric.
Oh, it's
Adobe
choppy.
Flash is updating on his computer.
They're Walt.
No,
There we go. He's back.
You got it.
am I
He's
back?
back.
He's
Okay.
back. No, it's not mime.
I'm back.
It's mine. So Pete missed it earlier. Pete was mime.
But like I feel like
All right.
kids are able to do like this sort of leveled tier list at Magic Kingdom with 2 of these attractions, and I hate to see one of them go.
It's not our choice.
And you know
The
what?
corporate has spoken. We got to get rid of him.
I know. And people good time as well. This attraction. I just want to get rid of them just for the seats. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big boy. Yeah, I can't do it sometimes.
Maybe
But
big boy.
It's a hard choice, but I might be able to pick one. Who knows?
I'm a petite person. I'm the one that gets crushed by my friends and family.
By Pete,
So I'm like,
my bad.
ugh.
All right, Rolando, what do you think?
Okay, so Mine Train, which I like, but the wait time is really something. It takes away from it.
Yeah.
It's worth the wait.
You're right. You're right.
Big Thunder, classic. It's been there a long time. Nostalgia, all of that is involved. I like that. And we could just get rid of the Nemo with the seas. I'm
Yeah.
Let's just go back, make it an old aquarium where we can just see the fish. We don't need the stuff. Fine. So I'm between the coasters.
Yeah. I miss the hydrolators. I don't know why they got rid of that. I like that. The old living seas and I'm with you. Finding Nemo is the weak link in this battle. I think they're likely to be eliminated quickly. It's cool. Like the projection technique that they use is really cool, where it looks like the fish are in the aquarium at the end.
Yeah.
Now all I want is Tom from Thursday night's episode doing a Nemo. He just couldn't stop doing his Marlin voice. I can't do it. Tom can do it. He's good at it. But yeah, that one is not, to me, is probably not a contender. What I will say about the Mine Train is, it is like Tyler was talking about Thunder, but Mine Train, same thing. Very smooth coaster. I like that, but it's hard to get my fat butt into this seat. It's not hard, but you feel it. There's a little challenge. The seats are like the seats are form fitting. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I will say,
They molded a butt there.
They molded a 130-pound man's butt there, and that's what you got. But if you ride that when the fireworks are going on, it's awesome. If you ride the Mine Train during the fireworks, which, you got to time it right, and it was a happy accident, but it's really cool. You got stuff, you're coming out of tunnels and stuff is blowing up right over your head. That's cool. But Big Thunder, classic. It's a classic Disney attraction. It is still a fun ride. Some of the classic attractions I love are not as fun as Big Thunder. There are classic attractions I love, and I ride them to check the box. Hey, I did that ride that I love. But Thunder is fun every time. So anyway, there we go. It's moving around here. Here we go. You got room now, Tyler. And let's kick off voting. We're going to kick off voting with the panel first. 2 points. What do you say, Pete Carney?
All right. This vote is because I want my girlfriend to still love me afterwards, and it is her favorite ride in the park. And I am still holding on to hope that they will update it with the projection scene from Disneyland. So I am going with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Let's keep it. Trash the other ones.
2 big points on the board for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Tyler Mann.
Yeah, the Seas is just not that good. Have you ever seen Yeah. I wish I had like a puppet ready of like a bird. Have you ever seen like the anglerfish ever working? Ever? I haven't.
I have.
Like the sound is
once or
always
twice.
off sync. The video screens are always off sync from each other. We did without Seven Dwarfs for quite a while. And by the way, Rolando, if you ever want to go on Big Thunder with no line, go with the fireworks, because park close, no one is on Mansion, no one is on Big Thunder. You could just walk right on them. It's amazing. So Big Thunder is my choice.
Amazing. All right, 2 more points for Big Thunder. That is 4-0. We go to Miss Allison. Let's have it, Allie.
Well, if you were getting rid of the seas in general, I would have kept the seagulls. But we will still have our beautiful fishes and turtles and such, so we can just get rid of Nemo. I'm fine with that. Seven Dwarfs is definitely a lot more appealing to a lot more people. I know that there are certain friends and family members that will kind of only go on that one, but they won't go on Thunder Mountain, so it allows like more family experiences together. However, the line is it's too much. I can never go. I think I've gone on it twice since it opened. Thunder Mountain, classic, higher throughput, very well done attraction. Let's keep Thunder Mountain.
All right, 2 more points for Big Thunder Mountain. Wow, this is turning into a blowout. Eric Wolf.
So it's funny that Allison said about the line in Mine Train, because that's one of the reasons why I kind of want to keep it. Because I'm like, listen, if you want to stay in that line, stay in the line. There's there's going to be less people anywhere else for me. That's going to be great.
Keep people and keep them off of the ride you're going on.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, that's fine. but here's my thing. Like, Mine Train is in Fantasyland. There's so much more to do in Fantasyland if you take that out. Like, it's not going to affect anything, except like those people aren't going to be there. Big Thunder Railroad, that sucker, like, there's not much to do, and I feel like it's such like a staple in Frontierland that I kind of want to keep Big Thunder, just for that reason.
All right,
it's
2
just
more
a big
points for Big
staple.
Thunder. Is that your vote? Is that the way I'm interpreting?
Yeah,
it? 2 more.
Big Thunder.
Okay, Rolando.
Wow. Well, I mean, Nemo is gone. Dead and gone for me. Can't even think about it. No, and Mine Train, I'm thinking about. I mean, I was there for the opening of Mine Train, and I got to meet Grumpy Cat. But that's not enough to save.
May he rest in peace, GrumpyCat.
I love her.
I gotta give my vote to the Big Thunder. Yes, may he rest. I gotta give my vote to Big Thunder Mountain to keep the mountains, so you can do.
Yeah, you can still do a mountain whammy, as Stacey would say.
Yeah.
All right, this has turned into a blowout. I came up with a solution now.
Oh.
So if we were to keep Big Thunder Mountain, they level, obviously, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and they level the Nemo ride. Then we could put some sort of submarine ride in where the Mine Train is now, where a submarine ride used to be. And then we have underwater attraction that everybody likes. So there's your Nemo bit for everybody else. And there's something to do where the Mine Train was. And we have submarines again at Disney World. That would be great.
Eric,
what?
I don't think you understand what leveled is. We're not actually getting rid of anything.
No, wrong show. All right. So for me, it's 2 points for Big Thunder Mountain. This is turning into a blowout. Maybe this matchup was a bad idea. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 to 0. We have we have
Has there ever been a sweep like that?
What's that?
Has there ever been a sweep like that in one of these matches?
I think there has, but not much.
We did some matchups that were probably sweeps, like we did the Voyage of the Little Mermaid versus a trash can. I think that would have been the track at Backlot Burger. But that was a joke matchup. I don't know if we have joke matchups this week. We've discussed them, but I don't control the graphics around here. So anyway, we're at 12-0. The way this is going to work, Eric Wolf is a moderator. You'll see his blue wrench in a YouTube chat. When Eric tells you it's time to vote, please vote once and only once for whichever attraction you wish to save. And we'll give you, I don't know, a minute or so, and we'll talk about something pointless while you do it. And then we'll tally the votes and see where we stand. So go ahead and kick it off, Eric.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sick of that right now.
I'm going to be hearing that in my dreams.
You know where you should put 20,000 Leagues, by the way? Get rid of Speedway, because that's the worst transition in the world.
Oh, I hate
every other. Yeah. We just did a Adventureland podcast, and we were like, that transition from like Arabian Village to Caribbean Plaza to then like Mexican to then like Western, like that works perfectly. Going from Adventureland to Frontierland, and then from Sunny Eclipse's backdrop, you can see the teacups. Like it's so stupid.
Now you can also see Tron from the Storybook Circus.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
I hope they put trees there at the very least.
A green wall.
I want to mention to the viewers, as people who are regular viewers know this, I might not have said it when we kicked it off. Our votes are worth 2 points. Viewer vote is worth 1 point. But if you want to toss a super chat donation, that vote will be worth however many dollars you donate in your super chat donation. So that has flipped many of these before. This is why we have to actually keep score, because we've been like, hey, this one ran away with it. And then somebody's like, oh, wait, $37 for this thing I like, and we have to recount everything. So if you want to make a super chat donation, this is a blowout. That would have to be a pretty big super chat donation, but you never know. And you might want to save your money for the auction tonight. I don't know. Let's go ahead and close the voting now, Eric.
All right.
No more voting. Voting is closed. We're going to give Eric a moment to tabulate the votes. I don't know. Maybe this is a bad match.
This was easy.
I like the mind connection, though. We like to make a connection
that was a good
everyone
joke.
doesn't know.
It was.
We always have there's always a hidden connection between these things. So minds it is. A couple more matchups coming up have some connections. We'll see. How are we looking, Eric? What do we got? Looks like he's got a counter.
I'm good. So we got Mine Train came out with 1 vote.
Whoa!
Right there at the end. Yep, Mine Train with 1. We got Big Thunder with 13 votes.
Okay, wow. And what about the surprising one, and I didn't think people were going to do it, but hey, Finding Nemo got 0 votes.
Comedic timing.
Who says perfection is unattainable? Right. So right now we're at that would be what, 25? So we have 1 vote for the 7 Dwarves. We have 25 for Big Thunder Mountain, and we have a big goose egg for Finding Nemo. I'm sorry, Nemo.
Seagull egg.
Oh. Yeah.
Nemo.
Back to the anemone for you. All right. Nemo. All right. We don't. I just like to, especially this is the last show. I like to play the graphic for Disney Deathmatch before we go to the next match too.
Yes.
Disney Deathmatch.
God,
Disney Deathmatch. Here we go. Matchup number 2. Magic Kingdom opening day attraction.
This is me.
No.
I don't like this.
No.
I mean, look, we're sometimes cruel. We have done Voices of Liberty against Dapper Dan's. That was cruel. We've done. What are you upset about, Pete? Are we wrong about something?
Yeah, we can't get rid of these.
Oh no, it's terrible. It's the worst.
Ooh,
the chat is not happy either.
I don't like this.
I don't like this.
Well, the chat is not happy.
There.
Oh boy, they're going to be after me like.
I see a lot of no's with multiple O's.
No. It just get worse. I'm just warning you guys. So we have Magic Kingdom opening day attractions. We have Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, and the Jungle Cruise. We're going to go around the panel. We'll just keep the same order. It's easier for me to keep that same order because it totally makes sense to go counterclockwise from the bottom left. Pete Carney, let's hear your analysis.
Okay. Oh man! Oh,
Eric's out.
Man, I mean, talk about. So I'm a big fan of iconic attractions, and opening day attractions obviously are the most iconic ones. Haunted Mansion. I mean, Walt worked on the original over on the West Coast. Love that they brought it over here. I mean, it's the Haunted Mansion. Small World from I'm from New York. The World's Fair to again having Walt work on it himself. Oh my God. I mean, that is the ride. Mary Blair. I mean, come on. When you think Disney, oh man, and the music, and then Jungle Cruise. I mean, the ride with all the personality. You have still having a ride with a live skipper and not an animatronic or a automated spiel. It's amazing. And again, Walt worked on this attraction on the West Coast and before they brought it here. It's so hard. Holy smokes. I don't know. I am so glad we have more.
Sorry if you guys need a minute.
I do.
Rebecca says in the chat, this is traumatizing. They must all say. No, the corporate needs revenue. So one of them needs to open up space to put a Baby Gap, and the other one's going to be a Wetzel's Pretzels. We just don't know which one's going to be. So, yeah, we got.
No,
you would have told me that before. Oh, okay.
Damn you, Baby Gap.
Uniqlo 2 is going to be there. No, so all right, Tyler, let's hear your analysis.
Oh, this is mean. Okay, all of these have a gigantic footprint. If any of these, me too, Pooh.
It's going to be
if any of these were going, there's going to be it's going to need to be the biggest Baby Gap then, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
Mansion is sort of one of those all-encompassing attractions where it has like an interactive queue. It has a pre-show room that begins the story, and then it has probably some of the most substantial effects-driven stuff I've seen in the park. It's got a memorable, catchy song. Yeah. It spawned a not-so-great movie. Guillermo del Toro, get on it already. Oh, I'm busy. I can't right now. Just do it.
Just do it. Thank you.
And it spawned like other versions that have like each version of Mansion brings something different, especially Phantom Manor, Vincent Price. Yeah. Small World, I'm sorry, like you're obviously going. Like if I have to get rid of one, that's like I'm sorry.
Mary Blair.
Definitely
Mary Blair.
Yeah, okay, Mary Blair, but
Canadians don't care about any culture around the world.
Why does it always have to go back to Canadians?
You represent the entire country, Tyler.
I don't think I can get rid of Cruise because, all those hardworking, talented improv actors, and I don't want to offend anybody here. No, I love Jungle Cruise. If you said, Tyler, pick one of these three, I'm like, okay, I'll go on Jungle Cruise and I'll go on Mansion. I'm not really driven to go on Small World more than the other two. And Jungle Cruise is sort of like, it is Adventureland. If I think of an attraction that encompasses Adventureland, it's Jungle Cruise. It's the biggest one. Sure. And it's so rare to have a comedy-driven attraction where it's based on just jokes and being funny. I mean, depending on the boat. Like, if everyone in the boat sucks, like, you're not going to have the best time. Yeah.
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 You know what no one brings up about Small World? It confuses kids, too, because is it a Big Blue World or is it a Small World?
Is that Dudley Do-Right?
First of all, Dudley Do-Right's the worst ride ever.
I'm Tyler.
Brendan Fraser played him in the movie, and he's handsome as heck. So thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
We got to keep moving. Allison, I want to hear your analysis. Tyler's is spot on. I mean, I don't know. Tyler had made some good points there, but
Yeah, he has some good points.
This is the most challenging one that I've ever experienced on this show. Gosh, I always try my hardest to go to shows or attractions that has an individual actually like being there, like a live performer, because they're gonna change the attraction and they're gonna make that experience different every time you go on there. And if you go on Jungle Cruise one day, it's gonna be like this. If you go next year, you have a totally different person, and sometimes they change the script. So changing the script is gonna change the ride. So it has a lot of rewritability. I don't know if that's a correct word for it. The Haunted Mansion has a really great history. I took a behind the scenes tour, and it was wonderful. It was really, really fascinating how they have such simple, like 100-year-old tricks that just make it like this wonderful illusion. And then the new queue with like the busts with like who did what. That's fascinating. And there's like a lot of depth to that. There's a lot of different details that you can spot, which is great. Very memorable soundtrack, the area loop. It's a Small World is, I think that there's never a long line for it. So it's not probably as popular as some of the other ones are, but I think that if you said we're going to get rid of It's a Small World, people will riot. People will flip out if you get rid of that ride. It would be. I think that I think I said this once before on this show or another one, that after we get out of quarantine, going on It's a Small World is going to be so much more impactful and meaningful writing it now than it was before. So that's another point.
Because those kids probably grew up. They're probably bigger now.
Wearing masks.
They got long hair. They haven't shaved.
5 years.
They haven't shaved.
5 years older.
They have beards.
Assuming the dancing ladies put on a few LBs.
They look like the Doggy Bottom Boys. Yeah.
Some of them are still playing Switch.
They want to show you their island for what's that game for Animal Crossing. There's a Tom Nook now, and Eric Wolf. Let's hear it.
I'm not even gonna lie. I have nothing. I don't know what to say. I really don't. I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm gonna pass to say anything. I have no idea.
It's like if there's some 2 people drowning and you can only save one, or 3 people drowning, you can only save one. It's difficult decision. Rolando, let's hear your analysis of this matchup.
This is a real tough one. This is because they're all classics. They're all beloved classics. I have great memories of every single one of these attractions. Every single one. Haunted Mansion is my all-time favorite. My good friend Phineas lives there. I could never kick him out.
Yeah,
I can't, it's safe, without a doubt.
All right.
But I only ride Small World once a year when my mom comes to visit because it's her favorite ride. So I mean, it's still.
You have to bulldoze your mom's favorite ride. You can't
it's
do
my
that.
mom's favorite. She loves that ride.
No. And they're. I'm sorry, I just got word. It's going to be. It's not going to be a Wetzel's Pretzels anymore. It's going to be an H&M. H&M.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Didn't they just file for Chapter 11? Come on.
Well, it's going to save them.
H&M.
And Jungle Cruise, the amazing Jungle Cruise, amazing, wonderful, funny, just holds up, still good to this day. It's
Yeah.
If I had to think about it realistically now, and there's no good answer. There's no good answer. People.
There are no winners here.
I think
we're all losers.
Jungle Cruise would be the one they would get rid of. If you had to pick.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Our viewers are going to vote, and then Bob Chapek will be there with the bulldozer.
Painfully.
Yeah.
All right. So Haunted Mansion is no secret.
Mickey's Runaway Boat Ride.
Yeah. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Small World. Yeah, this is really tough for me. It's no secret. Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean are my two favorite attractions. I have a Haunted Mansion bedroom. My guest room is Haunted Mansion.
Oh.
But then I started thinking, I have an awful lot of Haunted Mansion merchandise that would appreciate in value if it was bulldozed.
Wow.
I don't have a lot of Jungle Cruise stuff. I love the Jungle Cruise. I love the rides that have. I love attractions that feature the cast but put the cast members in the forefront. Where there's, they've gotten rid of so many of these, but whether it's the Backlot Tour or the Great Movie Ride, they've gotten rid of these. And I love the talented cast members, especially when they're allowed to kind of improvise, which is technically apparently not really allowed on the Jungle Cruise anymore. We know they do it. We love it. Don't tell anyone. Stuff. Small World. Small World is just so iconic. It has the Mary Blair all over it, and she's a total. I mean, all these people are legends, right? But I mean, it's tough. I don't love It's a Small World as much as some people. I'm like you, Rolando. I'll write it once a year, not because my mom likes it, but because I'll ignore it the other 30 times a year I'm in the Magic Kingdom. Or whatever. So, at any rate, let's kick off the voting, and again, we're just going to start with Pete Carney. Which attraction?
All right, so you guys made some great points around the hub here, and I'm going to be nitpicking and leave myself with an answer. And I think what I'm going to do is, sadly, I'm going to get rid of the Small World first. And I know it's iconic, but again, the rewritability is tough. You hear from the locals, we don't go on too often. And if you did want to see some of that animatronics and you wanted that style of ride, we still have the boat ride in Mexico that kind of feels like a shortened version of It's a Small World. So we could kind of sort of still see those little animatronics, get a little bit of that Mary Blair feel. And it's just the rewritability.
And just so you know, the footprint of that ride, Pete, the footprint of the ride, I'm just looking at some drawings that just came across my desk. It exactly matches a Burlington coat factory. So,
which is perfect for Florida. We need more coats here in Florida. It's only 98 degrees outside in May right now. So now we're down to Jungle Cruise and Haunted Mansion, and this is truly like picking a favorite child. I'm going to say we keep Haunted Mansion for two reasons. One, there are other fun interactive rides in the park, similar to Jungle Cruise a little bit. Like you have like a Monsters Inc. where you can interact and be fun and have a good time. But there is no other scary attraction. Like there's no other haunted attraction in that park. Also, Jungle Cruise versus Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion doesn't have any language barriers. And since we are Walt Disney World and we're bringing in people who speak Portuguese and Spanish and all these other languages, there's a language gap when you go on the Jungle Cruise, and that Haunted Mansion is universal to any language. So
look at Small World. They say
Small World, yeah.
They like use like 50 languages on that ride.
Yeah,
it's like eliminated Eric down to two. Right. Down from Small World. Yeah. It's already been leveled. So now
the Burlington Coat Factory,
I am going to choose the Haunted Mansion.
2 points for the Haunted Mansion, off to an early lead. Tyler Mann, what do you have?
Wait, is it what we're keeping or what we're getting rid of?
What you're keeping. You're voting for one you keep.
You only keep one.
Oh, I thought we were picking what we're getting rid of.
No, you pick one.
It's harder now.
That's it. It's a deathmatch. Who's the winner of the deathmatch?
Only one stage.
I forgot how this show works. Oh, gosh. There's no movie of It's a Small World, just saying. Although there is a television show.
Yet.
So, yeah, I gotta keep my most complete attraction, which I can go on multiple times and has no line during a fireworks show, Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion, 2 more points for the Haunted Mansion. We now move to Miss Allison. Let me say Allison.
Darn it.
Yeah, it's painful. It's hurting me too.
I feel like just getting like the decision maker app on my phone and rolling a dice.
Pain. I feel physical pain from Allison. Wasn't my intention. I'm sorry, Allison.
Goodness. Well, here's the thing. With Disney Deathmatch, the next week everything gets reset, right?
This is the last week of Locked In with Eric Morton. There's no next week. We don't know if it'll be reset.
No,
There is no tomorrows.
We're eliminating this in all parks around the world. So if there's another version of a ride, we still have that other version in that other park.
I gotta fly 6 hours to go to California then.
Do whatever makes you happy.
I gotta keep Haunted
You gotta be done by
Mansion.
2 o'clock.
It's Haunted Mansion.
Wow, is this going to be a blowout? Haunted Mansion, 6 to
I hate
0? 6 to 0 to 0?
Yeah, Haunted Mansion.
Let me hear it, Wolf.
Grim grinning ghost.
Okay,
Howl for us.
For sure. For sure. I'm just gonna get rid of It's a Small World. Sorry.
Okay.
Just gonna get rid of that. And then the other two, I don't know. So I wrote them down, and I'm gonna pick one.
Oh, here we go.
Is that what you were doing?
We're keeping Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
Mansion. Wow.
That's how
8 to
Chapin
nothing.
chooses that
What
too.
he didn't tell you is
actually.
multiple pieces of paper said Haunted Mansion.
And we know that this is Rolando. The Haunted Mansion is Rolando's favorite attraction. We've been through that.
Favorite attraction, beloved attraction. I can't get rid of Haunted Mansion. I have to keep it.
Yeah.
I have to.
All right.
Sorry, Mom. No, no Small World.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, every time I go to the Magic Kingdom, I have to ride the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do not ride the Jungle Cruise every single time, even though I love it. But the Jungle Cruise has that rewrite ability because it's always different. I mean, Haunted Mansion is always like, you don't know. I guess you don't know where you're going to get stopped for the ride to stop for 45 seconds. So that's
great.
But I have to go with the Haunted Mansion. I couldn't live with myself if I helped contributed to getting rid of the Haunted Mansion. So here's where we are. 12-0. It's not going to be a sweep, but on the panel, it's a sweep. 12-0. Haunted Mansion goes out to an early lead. And then Eric Wolf is going to kick off the voting in the chat. Your votes are worth 1 point, and Super Chat donations are worth the dollar amount of Super Chat. So let's kick it off, Eric.
Let's do it.
Let's vote. This one hurts. I could go back. I could make a case for any of these. I was
going to say, if we could keep 2, this would be so much easier.
Well, yeah, if you could keep 2, but this Deathmatch.
Man, does anybody have a favorite section or room of the Haunted Mansion?
Ooh.
I like the stretching room right out of the
Our
gate.
tour begins here in this gallery.
Yep. Please move to the dead center of the room.
I want to spend more time in the attic. Like, I want to go slower in the attic just because it goes so quickly. There's so much to look at, and I miss so much of it.
The voting is like a sweep.
There's something to mention. Like,
my favorite.
Most stuff in the graveyard is like fun, but then right at the end, if you turn to the right, like before you go through the final door, there's just like an open like tomb and this like horrifying like specter at the far end of it with red glowing eyes. I'm like, who is that? Like everything else
He's holding a hidden Mickey, yeah.
One bit's terrifying.
People like the ballroom and the library.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, David said in the chat that there are 2 attraction gravestones in a Haunted Mansion cemetery. I know that Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is in there. Do we know what the other headstone is, Pete?
I believe.
Attraction.
Is it 20,000 Leagues? I'm taking a stab in the dark. I have no idea.
I don't know. David, let us know.
Nemo?
Is it Nemo because we just killed Nemo?
They whipped up a Nemo one real quick.
No, David said
I think
it's time
David
to add 2
that
more.
it's time to. Yeah.
Oh, it's time. Oh, I see what he's saying. I was like, because I know Mr. Toad's in there.
Well, we made some great
you.
suggestions.
Sorry, literacy is not my.
There'll be 2 new ones today.
Oh my.
Where's the lights, motors, action tombstone?
Yeah.
There should be an attractions graveyard somewhere. That would
Dream
be fun.
Flight.
There is
Yeah,
a show
have
called
one.
Lights, Motors, Action. Did I give this fun fact on this show yet about Lights, Motors, Action has a little tribute in Hollywood Studios?
All right, voting has ended, and Pete has a fun fact
tell
while
you in a
Eric
second.
tabulates the results. No, Eric's tabulating the results.
If you go into Galaxy's Edge and you go into the market area, there are 3 of those little intergalactic cars. I don't know what you call them. And they're stacked. And on your app, on your phone, you can read the language on Batu, and you can translate certain writings on the wall. On the mark where you would actually used to enter Lights, Motors, Action, on one of the cars, there's 3 symbols. It's translated to LMA for Lights, Motors, Action, because that was where the entrance actually was to the show. So if you're in Galaxy's Edge and you see the 3 stacked cars in the market area, you can translate it on your phone, but it says LMA for Lights, Motors, Action.
Oh, that's
I have
cool.
heard, but I get spatially confused when I'm there. Someone told me that like the scaffolding, you'll see stormtroopers on that like kind of scaffolding area. You know what I'm talking about? That used to be part of Catastrophe Canyon. I don't know if that's true or not, but I like to think it was.
Is it?
Keep Google it. I don't know. Anyway, have you tabulated our results, Eric?
Yes, I have.
How bad is it?
So we got Jungle Cruise got 4 votes.
Okay.
It's a Small World. It's not so small. It has or actually it is pretty small. It got 1 vote.
One vote.
Got one vote. Haunted Mansion has 17 votes.
Wow. Wow.
These seem like difficult matchups until we actually vote and you realize it's a landslide victory for one.
Oh, wow.
You know, when we did festivals, people were torn. When we did Spaceship Earth narrators, people were torn. When we did Monorail Resorts, people were torn. When we did, I think Dapper Dan's versus Voice of Liberty, people were torn.
Yeah.
I don't know what the closest matchup we ever had.
We should do Streetmosphere one.
We have a couple. Oh god, no, that would be a landslide, right? I don't know. I feel like I don't know about the Jamators, but I think they used to live above me. Very loud.
What? I'm pretty sure they moved above me.
Yeah. Yeah, they might live above Pete now. I want to take a very quick break before we pick up the next death matches, maybe like one commercial, Kevin. But first, I need to remind the viewers about WIGS, the WDWNT Interglobe Society. You can join for as little as $2 a month on patreon.com/WDWNT. And you can also donate in the super chat and YouTube here. So, we're going to go to a commercial. We'll be back with a couple more Disney death matches and our final farewell.
Dreamfinders is WDW News Today's podcast all about the creative culture surrounding Disney parks. Authors, Imagineers, dancers, actors, photographers, filmmakers, and a whole lot more have all stopped by to chat about how Disney has inspired their artistic work.
But I still remember sitting in conference tables and looking across at Michael and Jeffrey Katzenberg and the sort of little 6-year-old inside of me going, what in heaven's name is going on here?
And we're off and running, and Tony needs someone to lay it out for him. And there's no architect available. So the next thing I know, I'm laying out the pavilion.
I got to tell you, I have not enjoyed a podcast so much. It's just a warm conversation, and a warm and intelligent conversation, which you don't find that often in podcasts.
Dreamfinders. Episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher.
WDW News Tonight is our weekly comedy show combining the news of the week, comedy segments, thoughtful discussions, insane characters, parody commercials, games, and more. Watch live on Thursdays at 9 p.m. and become a WIGS member to get access to a bonus post show. Watch WDW News Tonight episodes anytime and live on YouTube, or get the audio-only version on iTunes and other podcast services.
And we're back. That's my jam. I like that. I'm gonna miss that song.
That's the Jungle Cruise, by the way. That's the same music I used for Jungle Cruise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're not happy about that.
Aw.
Seriously?
So now that we've destroyed everyone's childhood, we'll move on. Kevin, did you have something you wanted to show? I didn't understand. Kevin sent a message. He had a graphic or something, and it was really small. I couldn't see.
Oh, yeah,
is that this spooky ghost? Well, he's still there.
And look at the hidden Mickey it's holding.
He's holding a hidden Mickey.
It just doesn't match the rest of the ghosts at all.
No,
it's so
right.
weird.
Yeah,
cool,
that's
though.
the
I
creepy one. That's the one that follows you home, by the way. I saw it in my shower the other day.
Oh no.
Don't turn around.
Turn around every now and then. I have a ghost in my shower and I never come around. All right.
Oh my God! Somebody write that. I'm gonna write that.
Disney Deathmatch. As always, the death matches are painful and difficult. I don't think, well, yeah, we maybe have, but we haven't had a death match with this level of brutality yet that's coming up with human loss and suffering. We have another death match coming up. Let's kick off our next segment.
Disney Deathmatch!
This next death match is Orphan Battle.
No.
The orphans, Snow White and Cinderella, are going to battle to the death. There's only budget for one of them. I'm sorry.
She's the original.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry
We have
about
the other one's
orphan
castle,
battle.
though.
Yeah, we keep the castle. We
man.
keep the castle with get rid of the orphan if we have to.
Oh, no.
This is cruel.
The castle becomes an orphan.
In memory of.
No, Surfboard says this is Disney. There's a lot more orphans. That is true. There are a lot more orphans. We could go orphans all day, but these are like the A-list. These are like, as far as I know, like the A-list orphans, right? We're not going to have Mowgli in here. We're not going to have. I guess Lilo is technically an orphan. I don't know what to define. I don't know.
Well,
we could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
She's with her sister.
All the X-Men.
Spider-Man's an orphan. Batman will soon be a member of the Disney family. We're sure he's an orphan.
The next Disney princess.
We
already have Kylo Ren.
Batman, a new Disney princess. So I know this is painful for everyone. I don't know what to do. We'll do what we always do. We just press forward.
I don't know.
We just press forward and try to make it work. Pete, what do you think?
Oh, this is a real one.
He's muted. Pete, you're muted.
Oh no, Pete, not again.
Well, I'll ask this real quick. If the characters go, do their castles and attractions go?
No.
Can he not hear us?
Pete, you are muted.
I can hear you, and now you can hear me.
There we go.
Hello.
There we go.
Cricket wireless.
This is an easy one for me. It's just actually not that hard for me, but I'm going to pretend like it is. So Cinderella's castle, the icon of Walt Disney World, the glass slipper, she's so iconic. Snow White, the OG. She's got 7 friends that are pretty cool. One really messed up old lady coming after her. Cinderella's. Snow White's in Germany at Epcot. Cinderella has a friggin' castle. I have a choice. I have a choice and a reason, but I'm going to save it for the next come around.
Somebody had the poison apple like coffee mug earlier when we were drinking at Toast. Who had that? One of you had it. Didn't someone have the? I saw it. It might have been Chris.
Oh, Chris.
I don't know.
It was Chris.
Is it on screen right now?
Yeah. All right, Tyler. Let me hear your opinions on this matchup. It's a deadly matchup. Hanzo swords. They cross Hanzo swords at midnight.
As I was photoshopping.
Oh yeah, logo courtesy of Tyler Mann here.
Oddly enough, the character designs Cinderella's head is smaller, but she's taller than Snow White. Like, as I was photoshopping these together, like I photoshopped them to be the same height, and I'm like, why is Cinderella's head so small compared to Snow White's?
Small
like,
target.
these are what I assume to be. Okay, wait. Are we saying who's gonna, if these two had Hanzo swords?
We're not gonna
Hanzo
say like,
swords.
oh yeah, well she's 5'4" and weighs 102 pounds and has
No, but I'm like,
Thai. No,
are we? Is it these two?
Which one do you want?
Like, these two have
Who do you wanna keep?
swords.
No,
They're
it's
fighting
not.
against
No.
each other. Okay.
It's tough to fight
Which one do I want
just
to keep?
just so people know
That's true.
what I really
Oh,
wanted from
God.
Tyler.
Could
If
use a
Tyler
glass
had more
sliver
time,
and just
I
get
dropped
with
these.
it.
I dropped
Yeah.
these matchups really late in the game. Right, I'm lazy and unorganized. I didn't get this put together, but I really wanted to. Once I started dreaming it up and pitching to Tyler, I was like, "Give him Hanzo swords, or if we could do an animated graphic, I want one of them to have a switchblade that goes click." Wouldn't it be cool to see like Snow White? Like, I'll cut a bitch. You know, like that would be really cool. But anyway, sorry, Tyler.
That's okay.
Pete is ranting and he's muted again.
So yeah, Cinderella has a castle.
Cinderella, like, take her slipper off, smash it on the table, and like use it as a weapon.
That's what I was
gonna say.
Me and Rolando were minding it out before.
Well, she does that in Wreck-It Ralph. She smashes it.
Wreck-It Ralph, yeah.
If that was the battle, between these two, like which one's more brutal? Yeah, Cinderella. Like, but like if it's just which one to keep, I mean, Cinderella has a castle, sure, but there's other castles. Pardon me. Snow White has a mine train. Well, I guess not anymore.
Yeah, that's gone.
There's a pretty cool Snow White walkthrough attraction at another Disney park, which I thought was pretty intriguing. And I don't know. I'd rather have a cool walkthrough attraction than just a big old castle that, you know, we could have different or maybe better castles. Like the Paris Castle's beautiful. Shanghai Castle's gigantic. I don't know. This one's hard because it's just so like vague and nebulous compared to all the other. It's like, which one? It's like character representation of the park.
These are also the
fighting
two
with
princesses.
swords?
These are the two princesses that are the best at chores. Sweeping, cleaning, mopping, sewing,
What about
whatever they got to do.
She's
Cooking.
real good at
Tiana's
stuff.
good.
Hard worker.
She's like a restaurateur. Well, yeah, she's okay.
Still got cockroaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tiana's almost there.
Yeah, if
She's
she's almost there. Maybe if Snow White had been cleaning a place, there wouldn't be cockroaches running around. All right, Allison, what do you think?
So one of the things that Tyler was saying about the size of the head, usually like things that have bigger heads are associated with something more youthful, and Snow White is a younger individual. Because babies have bigger heads proportionate to the rest of their bodies. And if you look at this is a thing. Things with bigger
it's an
heads
animation
look
thing.
cuter. So yeah, so that was like a style choice, I guess. So with Snow White, she is one of the few Disney princesses that has brown eyes and dark hair.
Yeah, the
So you
brunette
don't
princess.
have too many princesses that are like that. So that might be something that, you know, younger girls will look at and say, oh, I feel a little bit more like I can connect with this character because she looks a little bit more like me. So that's kind of my argument for Snow White. For Cinderella, I think that she takes a little bit more action. She's a little bit like she is in an extremely tough situation, but I feel like she's a little bit more active in her life and what's happening. And I feel like Snow White is just reacting a little bit more to what's happening all around her.
Yeah. Okay. Eric Wolf.
So Sworn Force took it from me. I was gonna say, you know, Snow White has a bunch of these animals helping her clean and stuff like that. At least Cindy does her job, and she does it well, and she does it by herself. You know.
Yeah, but she got help from rodents. She has rodents all over the place, relaying messages for her, helping her make dresses for her. I mean, let's not pretend that rodents aren't dirty too.
Those aren't chores.
Yeah, those are side things. Like they're sewing a dress for her. Like whatever.
They always keep Cinderella hopping. I'll tell you, they always keep her hopping.
One for me has a really annoying voice, and I can't stand it. Yeah, I honestly, I just can't.
Which one?
And one has cool sidekicks and the other one doesn't. So this one's kind of easy. For
Fat
me.
Mouse versus some birds. Yeah.
No, are the
all I'm
dwarves her sidekicks?
All right, Rolando. Let's hear it, Rolando.
Yeah, I would. This is a good one. This is a good battle because there's pros and cons to both of these princesses. Yeah, you're right. Snow White is very passive. She's a very passive character. She really doesn't do much. The dwarves do things. The witch does things. She just kind of hangs out. The huntsman does something. She just kind of runs and looks. But she's the original princess. We gotta show her.
She's so fair. She's so fair.
She is. She is. And Cinderella, who doesn't love a good rags to riches story. She starts off at the bottom.
Yeah.
By the end of it, she moves into the castle, which isn't her castle. Everyone calls it Cinderella's castle, but it still belongs to the king. It's still his castle.
That's true.
Come on.
That's true.
They're putting him in his grave already. It's his castle.
You are right, though. She's
Cinderella.
like the Drake of princesses. She started from the
Yeah,
bottom.
I was gonna say she's like Tyler will appreciate that. She's like the Drake. She's start from the bottom. Now she's here.
Start from the bottom. Now she's here.
I don't even like
Drake. No, come on, you're Canadian.
Is Drake Canadian?
I'm more of a Nickelback fan. Yes,
What? I know he filmed Degrassi in
Oh,
Canada. Yeah, he's in Degrassi. That's all I remember.
So Alanis Morissette was in Degrassi too, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The old Degrassi.
I never watched Degrassi either.
I watched Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Call yourself Canadian.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
This is a tough one. Like we said, Cinderella worked her way. I mean, Snow White just got a guy to kiss a dead chick, which is a little weird, but you got to be pretty good to pull that off. Well, I mean, it's not as good as Belle's.
She's unconscious.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. This is a tough matchup. They're two iconic princesses. How are the parks going to move forward without them? I don't know. Pete, why don't you start with the voting?
Get by without her.
All right. So, as I mentioned, this was kind of easy for me. I find Snow White pretty annoying. Also, I can get rid of her. I would have more fun with the Seven Dwarfs. Those are my dudes. I like them. So, we still get a piece of the story left behind. It's not like we're losing the entire story. Yeah, Cinderella's awesome. She holds herself. She's a classy lassie. She holds down the fort. I feel like she would throw a great dinner party. I like her royal table. Yeah, and I mean the poor thing's walking in glass slippers. She's lived such a hard life with those stepsisters. Oh, the poor thing.
Uncomfortable footwear. So 2 points for Cinderella. Is that what we're saying? Yeah.
Real rags to riches story. I'm going Cindy all day. Sorry, Snowy. You're out of here.
Cinderella on the board with 2 points. Tyler Mann.
I think just in terms of like which story I enjoy more or which character I enjoy more, Cinderella, she goes to a ball and she falls in love and then she's like, oh God, I gotta go. You can't see me not in my dress. And then he's just like, oh, there you are. And by the way, I have such a problem with the story of Cinderella, but I'll talk about that when we start voting and there's like a silence. But Snow White had more of like an adventure, some kooky things happen, the scariest part of any Disney movie happens twice, where with the horrifying forest and then the witch just trying to crush her to death with a boulder. It's more exciting. It's more unique. And I think the attractions are the two of them, Mine Train and the walkthrough one, are way cooler than just, I don't think Cinderella has anything. So bye Cinderella. You want to go to the festival?
The
King's
matchup
Festival?
is tied 2-2. Snow White and Cinderella.
I want to
a
go
couple of interesting, compelling characters. Miss Allison, what do you have?
I am going to be voting for Cinderella. I like her story a little bit more. I like her story more than the Snow White story. I like her work ethic, and you see like all of this. You really see her story of like her experiencing like this is a terrible life that she's living. You're welcomed into that world, and you experience that with her, and you sympathize with her more than you do, I feel, with Snow White. So I feel like I can connect with Cinderella more than I can with Snow White.
Okay, well, there we go. Cinderella is back out to a very small lead, and we go to Eric Wolf for his vote.
So right off the bat, I'm voting for Cindy. I like her.
All right.
I like everything about her. She has a fairy godmother. Really, like Cindy she had a family. Her family didn't treat her well, but it wasn't like Snow White that she was like, oh, I gotta run away. Like she was just like, whatever, this is my life. I'm gonna have to deal with this. And I feel like even if the fairy godmother didn't come around like bippity boppity boo, she would have still kept up with it, Poor girl, but she would have,
They're both kind
How
of
many
animals.
remakes have
I
you made
like
of
that.
Cinderella compared to Snow White? I feel like there's been 19 versions of Cinderella.
Oh, there were like 5 Snow White movies out at the same time with the chick from Twilight and
Oh yeah.
Snow White.
They weren't-
Snow
they
White
weren't-
and the Huntsman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Snow White and the Huntsman.
And there was another Snow White movie like at the same time.
Yeah, there was another one.
Mirror, mirror.
Yeah, who knows?
It's Charlize Theron.
Oh yeah, Mirror, Mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rolando, who's your vote for?
It's got to be Cinderella. Night and day, it's Cinderella. Got to pick her.
Oh.
Cinderella.
Because she did. She fought for it. She fought for it. And she has the great moment at the end where they trip the major domo. He drops the shoe. It shatters. And she's like, oh, wait, you mean shoe? Boom!
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Right there.
She didn't
That
pull
was
it
like
out right away.
Cinderella.
They need to
Got
redo that moment, but have the air blowing in her hair like Beyonce when she's like, "Oh, you mean this shoe?"
Boom.
I would love it. This is a difficult matchup. I like them both. Cinderella. I gotta go with Cinderella. She's iconic. I gotta go with Cinderella. She shows more personality, I think, in the movie anyway. She got a little bit of that scrappiness. So there it is. That's 10 for Cinderella, 2 for Snow White. And go ahead and open up the voting, Eric.
Let's do it.
Also,
You may vote once.
if anyone is a Salt and Pepper fan, DJ Spinderella, come on.
Yes.
Spinderella, pick it up one time. I don't want to get dinged because I'm going to nail that song so well, and then we won't get dinged.
We're gonna get our YouTube's gonna get demonetized for you doing a perfect rendition.
I'm
of the
not
song.
going to sing it because that's my main reason.
So instead of $1.49, this show will only make $0.
Correct.
All right. So it looks like the
a
voting is
lot of
going
back
well.
and forth here in the votes. This is wild.
This finally we have a close matchup.
Oh, there is.
Can I say what my problem with Cinderella is?
Oh, no, say it.
Especially in the Into the Woods or like the original version, when he's like, he brings the shoe and he's like, I'm looking for the woman who fits the shoe, and like the sisters are like forcing their shoe into it and they're like cutting their toes off, and it's like, he knows what she looked like. Like it's not like he didn't know who he was dancing with. I know it's not you. It's not going to help that you're cutting your parts of your feet off.
Yeah.
I know it's this lady. I saw her face. It's more like a
Clark
metaphor
Kent,
thing.
right? He puts on glasses and suddenly you can't recognize Superman. We were talking about last night.
That's a weird idea.
You don't know
Remember
who
that
I am
movie?
now.
She's All That. She's All That with what was her
It's
name?
like
Rachel
Hannah
Lee Cook.
Montana.
Like, oh, it's a really beautiful girl wearing glasses. No one will ever see her. She's such a nerd and an outcast. And they take off her glasses and put a red dress on her. And like, oh my God, she's the most popular girl in school.
Well, it's like you can't believe that person. Like you'd look at Miley Miley, and you're like, well, there's no way she's Hannah Montana. Like, I can't believe this average girl I go to school with is Hannah Montana. Like, that's the whole, like, you can't, like, Clark Kent is just so weird and awkward. You're like, well, there's no way he's Superman. I mean, I know he's like a square tank, but there's no way he's
But look at him, he's wearing glasses. There's no way.
Do we have the submarine thing?
Oh, you have a super chat?
Marklin with a $5 vote for Snow White.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
I'm not gonna say what it's
5 for Snow. Someone voted for Butters. Thank you, Butters. Butters make a good princess. She is
Princess
actually named for
Buttercup.
Princess. Yes, she's named for Princess Buttercup and a Princess Bride. So,
did Butters ever take over the show?
Yeah, we did a Butters takeover once.
I completely missed that.
My video didn't go real well. I didn't make it. Wasn't my finest video work. All right, voting is complete. Voting is complete. We give Eric. Eric, do you need some time to tally these?
I do not actually.
Oh.
Okay.
I got it straight off, but I did want to say I really enjoy the Cinderella Story and Sydney White. Both those movies are actually pretty funny.
Wait, Sydney White, is that the girl
I haven't
that went
even
crazy?
thought about Sydney White. That's Amanda Bynes.
Who's the girl that?
in
Who's the girl? She
Astrology.
went totally crazy. Amanda Bynes, yeah, went
Amanda
totally
Bynes.
insane. I think maybe
That
she's
movie-
back to normal.
That
I
movie
don't
was
know.
actually pretty funny.
If we're doing our favorite whites, it would be Jaleel White for me.
Jaleel White.
That is a good, yeah.
I'm a Reggie
That's
White
not
guy
White
myself.
Claw?
Yeah.
Oh, White Claw, close second. White Claws. Yeah.
Oh God! You just remind me. I'm going to need to grab something real quick while we're tabulating the vote, or after we tabulate the votes here. Eric, what do we have?
We have Snow White with 10 points,
Okay.
and we have Cindy with 13 points.
Ooh!
Wow!
Does that include
so
the super chat?
23 to 17.
No.
Yeah. So I have I got a $5 super chat for Snow White. Thank you very much. So that is 17 points for Snow White and 23 points for Cinderella right now. That can always be flipped by super chats later. That's 17 to 23. So unless somebody unless we have a super chat battle, it looks like we're going to hang Snow White at midnight.
I didn't know we were hanging.
No, they have
so dark.
They have Hanzo swords. They know how to settle it like adults. Okay, you fight in the moonlight and the beach. So anyway, sorry, that would not hang Snow White. That's cruel. I think they just get snapped. Do they snap? Do we snap? Is that how we get rid of the attractions? A Thanos
They just maybe.
Leveled. They got leveled.
Does that explain why the kids from the small world are 5 years old?
Had that ready.
He's got it. He's got it ready.
Did it work? She's gone. That's it. That's next.
Oh, he's got it. Yeah, boom.
Done.
All right. So, as you guys know, we traditionally will do, not always, but usually we'll do a life match. In other words, we bring something, we've gotten rid of stuff, but we get to bring one thing back. And throughout the course of our show, we have brought a number of things back in a life match. And so we thought it might be a good idea to kind of circle back around on some of these. Go for it, Kevin.
Disney Deathmatch!
Battle of Past Champions.
Oh.
Wow.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Oh, hold on. We have a super chat donation from Pat Mick75. $5 more for Snow White. That means Snow White is only behind by 1 point. She's at 20. She was at 17. Now she's at 22, and Cinderella has 23. So that matchup is super close now. It might come down to it being a nail biter. But the business at hand. Thank you very much for your donation, Pat. Business at hand, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. We can bring it back at the Magic Kingdom. The Adventurers Club, we can bring that back. Or the Backlot Tour, another past champion. I have a feeling I know how this matchup will go, but you never know what's going to happen on Disney Deathmatch.
I don't even know what I'm voting.
Yeah, I don't either. I think I have a good idea what I'm voting for, but I'm not positive. If Horizons would have been in this matchup, that would have been good too.
Horizons would be the first one I would eliminate out of the 4 of those.
All right, let's hear the horn, Kevin.
Horn.
Oh wait, it's just $1. It's just $1.
It's
I don't even
$1,
see
no vote.
It's just $1 with no vote. Archfox, do you want to make that $1 a vote? Oh, it's for Snow. $1 for Snow. It ties up the matchup. It's all tied. Snow White and Cinderella, 23-23.
They both fall.
What do we do now? Do we call them and have them plead their case?
Oh no!
I don't know. We don't know how this will end. We'll have to do We'll have to figure out a tiebreaker at the end, apparently.
Plot twist: Aurora
rock,
comes
paper,
up and takes them
scissors?
both out.
That's it.
All right. So, Battle of Champions, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride versus the Adventurers Club versus the Backlot Tour. We get to bring one and only one of these attractions back to life. And as we've been doing, we will start with Pete's analysis.
All right. Well, I like this matchup because they're all so different. I mean, you have your classic animatronic, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, still over in Disneyland. Everyone loves it. It was when they took it out of here, people were obviously very upset. We already spoke about that. It's still remembered in the Haunted Mansion in the cemetery on the exit. It's that beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Adventurers Club, talk about talent, some of the best performers to pass through Walt Disney World. A great place to hang out. Again, bringing pure joy to every guest that had been there, in my opinion. And then Backlot Tour. I mean, what would have happened to Hollywood Studios without the Backlot Tour? I mean, that was the backbone in the early days of the park. Mm-hmm. That is what the park was all about, taking you behind the scenes, letting you peel back that curtain and see the special effects and see how costumes and animation and all these things were happening to make the movies you love come to life. And again, you get a live performer as well, who's spieling, and so there's some rewritability there. Really, really good matchup. I mean, they're so different, and that's why I love this matchup. They're completely different animals. I think I'm leaning in a direction, but I could easily be persuaded. So I'm very excited to hear what everyone else has to say.
All right. How about you, Tyler?
Oh, this is difficult, but at the same time an easy choice for me. Mr. Toad, there was a huge backlash from fans even before the internet existed, before WDWNT existed, and they tried to save it, but it still exists at Disneyland. And if I wanted to experience it now, I could always go watch a YouTube video or something. Backlot was exciting for Catastrophe Canyon and get to peek into movies and stuff, but there is other places where there is a Backlot Tour as well, where they do similar stuff. And then Adventurers Club, I'm not a party person, and at Stage 89 we reunited all the Adventurers Club together, and I was like, maybe I'll stay for half an hour. And I ended up staying all throughout the entire night. I got to talk to them. They were amazing. I think Rolando might have some friends of friends of friends over at An Incredible Celebration, if I'm correct. Yeah. And everyone there, I can watch a video of Backlot Tour. I can watch a video of Mr. Toad. There's nothing that can really capture that Adventurers Club experience from what I've heard and what I've experienced at the 89
It seems like
party.
You don't know who you're going to vote for.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence.
Excuse me, Tyler. We have breaking news.
Oh, no.
We've received a 5, is that pounds?
It's pounds.
That
£5.
£5 pound.
Which makes you
Super chat donation. As always, we honor the exchange rate, so we don't know how many dollars this will be for Snow White yet.
Like 6 or 7?
$6.
I mean, if it was tied, then obviously
American dollars. That is right now $6.08 on today's market.
All right, so
that's
we'll give it
Canadian
6 votes.
dollars.
As I said,
Yeah,
6
votes.
pence, none the richer.
That makes this 29-23. a big comeback for Snow White. Very impressive.
Wow.
She's got more guts than maybe some of you gave her credit for. You know, we talked about Snow White being the bootstrapping her way to the top with just guts and
Unbelievable
hard
that somebody
work,
from the
but-
United Kingdom would vote for a German. Unbelievable.
Oh boy.
my God.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Only on Locked In. All right. Wow, we got a lot of ground left to cover too. So Tyler, that was or were you done with your analysis? We interrupted you with a.
I vote
very
for
loud
Jaws. I'm done.
All right. Let's hear your analysis real quick, Allison.
Mr. Toad's super cute. I love a cute dark ride attraction. It is in Disneyland, however, and it makes it a little bit more special to fly out there to be able to see it if you do miss it. Adventures Club, I never was able to go in there. I think it was only around for a very short period of time when I was able to like physically like drink adult beverages. So I never able to really experience it, but I do love live performers, love live entertainment. They really give it a plus, really give it a good quality, and I like supporting those individuals. Backlot Tour, you also have a live individual tour guide, and you have, if we're going back to the original one, I mean, that's such a long attraction that that's an experience. You know, if I'm going to go see a ride, you know, Mickey's Runaway Railway, that's 5 minutes. If I'm going to Backlot, like that's a commitment, for better or for worse. And they have all different aspects of putting you in the movies and all the different props. And they had the part where you could be with Tim Allen, right? For what was the show that he was on? With Tool Time?
Home Improvement?
Home Improvement, yes. And you could be like next to him. And when I told my husband that you could be, and I showed him that you could kind of be split screen with Tim Allen, he's like, Allison, if I knew about this when I was younger, I would have killed somebody to have been with Tim Allen on a Home Improvement show. So if I can have the opportunity for my husband to ever be there and see his eyes light up, I would take it, but it puts you into the movies and it puts you into the shows, which is great.
All right, Eric.
All right, so yes, like Allison said, you have, oh my gosh, what's this attraction?
That would be
Toad's Wild Ride.
Mr. Toad. You have Mr. Toad's at Disneyland. I enjoy the fact that it's at Disneyland, that it's, you know, over there. It just, there's something about it being there that I really love. So, you know, that's there. I like it. Adventures Club, was never able to go. Hear a lot of stories. I personally have some friends that were, you know, that work there. That just hearing their stories, it would have been something that I would have enjoyed tremendously. And then Backlot Tour, I love behind the scenes, you know, like movie magic. I love props. I love all that. And I really did enjoy that. Even though I don't remember like the old one. The Backlot Tour that I do remember and I do enjoy, is, you know, was still there, but like Tyler said, like other places do Backlot tours. Like I was fortunate enough to go to Universal in Hollywood and do their Backlot tour. That's amazing. Yeah. So I'm leaning towards one, but who knows? There's still two other people that can change my mind here. So we'll see.
And
what
just a quick note. Penguin Project asked in the chat, Penguin Project's mother wants to vote but doesn't have a YouTube login, so can Penguin Project vote twice? I said, okay. So you get to vote. All right, Rolando, I have a feeling this could create a workplace hazard for you if you gave the wrong answer.
That's true. Well, it's three very worthy attractions. All the great term.
Yeah.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is a classic. It is in California, so you can always check it out over there. The Backlot Tour in its heyday, a lot of those actors who were at studios hanging out would be brought in to hang out on set and do stuff. So that was a wonderful thing to have, just an alive world full of actors. That would be awesome to have that again in its glory, with Residential Street and the car boneyard and Catastrophe Canyon and all those great spots. That would be something. But Adventurers Club, I mean, it's so iconic, such a great show. And I'd love to see what Adventurers Club would be today, with new exciting new characters, new actors who are willing to jump in there at any moment. It would be something else. So I think I'm a little biased, but I'd have to. I'm leaning towards Adventurers Club for obvious reasons.
Yeah, this is painful for me. All of these I would like to see back. I think they're all worthy of still being in the parks, or at Disney Springs now. That being said, Adventurers Club has a certain special something that is unique and can't be found anywhere else. And I miss it. And every time I walk past there, I want to spit on the ground. Like, damn it. Where's the Adventurers Club? So anyway, that's not my vote yet. We don't vote yet, but now we vote. I'm going to go to Pete Carney for the first vote.
Man, kind of like the opening day attractions. I'm gonna eliminate one first and kind of debate between two. Since Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is still currently on the West Coast, and there are no live entertainers, which is what everyone knows I love the most, I'm going to let that stay by the wayside by now. Now we're between Adventurers Club and Backlot Tour. This is really, really hard for me because I remember the Backlot Tour as a kid. I wanted to be in the movies when I was a kid. I was enamored by the size and scale. I was at that perfect impressionable age. That's hard to say. When I went on the Backlot Tour, like seeing the movie magic and going behind the scenes, I remember being in awe, going back to New York and telling my friends about it. And I love that stuff. And then the Adventurers Club now as an adult, I feel like I would appreciate it so much, having done theater and improv and I just love hanging out in places where people interact with you and you could kind of be a part of the show, but also sit back and watch if you want. It sounds really special. I never got to go to the Adventurers Club, which is really sad. With that being said, I am going to choose the Backlot Tour, and that is only because I feel like if the Adventurers Club could be experienced by more people, I would bring it back, but I feel like it was kind of hidden away at Springs, and even if people did come down, they might not build time to hang out at Springs into their vacation. They might just come and hit the parks.
Yeah.
So if I can help better the parks and bring something back, and at least the Backlot Tour does still have I bring it back in its glory where like it has like the live actor, like the spiels, you have an entertainer there, all the special effects, and you could feel the fire and the water gushing over you. There's a lot of wow moments where I think, young kids and even adults could really appreciate. So I'm bringing back the Backlot Tour.
2 points on the board for the Backlot Tour. How about you, Mr. Tyler Mann? What is your vote for?
I honestly said everything I needed to say before. I love adventure. I love the theme of adventure. I love jungles, explorers, crazy like traps and temples and all that stuff. And that was probably the biggest highlight for me at Stage 89. It's why I put it in all the Wigs ads. It's why it was so much fun. And I have a wonderful story for it that I will tell at some other time. I think I've already said it before. But anyway, Adventures.
No, we're overtime. We're overtime now. So I want to thank all of you, first of all, for just working overtime. We're already late running the show. Nobody here is being paid, so we're a little over. But and we're not. We have more after this. So I'm not trying to rush anyone. But Allison, let me have your vote.
It's tough. Oh, bye, Pete. No, I'm kidding. My vote is for the Backlot Tour. I think that you get it's just such a big, long experience. I feel like all families can go on it, enjoy it. And I love behind the scenes stuff. I love learning about what goes into making the movies. So vote is for Backlot Tour.
All right. Backlot Tour, one step closer to being brought back to life. It can be stopped by Eric Wolf. try to tie this up or go in another direction?
Oh, well, we'll see. For sure, Mr. Toad, I'm gonna just eliminate right off the bat. Like Pete said, it's in California. We can still experience it. But Backlot Tour and Adventurers Club, my thing with Backlot Tour is what I think I said it today, yeah, if I jog my memory. Hollywood Studios doesn't know what it is, doesn't know what it is. Are you still learning about behind the scenes stuff?
Or are you part of the movie?
Movies are made, or are you part of the movie? And I feel like they're leaning more towards part of the movie. So Backlot
Are you
Tour
in
for me
Star
just
Wars
doesn't
land when
fit.
you're in Launch Bay? Are you in Star Wars land when you're outside the other ride? No one knows what's going on in Hollywood Studios.
No one knows. No one knows.
I'm a toy. Wait.
I'm the size of a toy. Is that a stormtrooper down the street? Is it a Green Army man?
It's like no one knows, but Adventurers Club, yeah, like Tyler said, I'm into all that. And it just seems like such an amazing time that people would be able to have. But I do agree with what Allison said, like Backlot Tour, at least everyone could enjoy. But I feel like there are specific things, and there should be things that maybe just adults can enjoy. So Adventurers Club all the way.
All right, this ties up the matchup, and I have a feeling I know where this vote is going with Rolando. What do you say?
Congaloosh. I gotta go Adventurers.
Congaloosh.
It's
And
such
it's going to be double.
Fantastic thing.
It's going to be a double Congaloosh here because I'm an Adventurers Club. God, I love all this stuff. But Adventurers Club is the one thing that I think was the most unique, the most special, the most incredible. So that brings it to let's see,
the main reason I wasn't bringing it back is how broke would I be living only like 5 minutes away from the Adventurers Club now? I would be there every night.
And the drinks ain't cheap, my friend.
Yeah. If I lived where you lived, Pete, I'd be there all the time.
Yeah, I'd be there every night. I'd be begging for change outside of the Adventurers Club.
8-4. Adventurers Club is up 8 points to 4 over the backlot, and Mr. Toad sadly is being brutally shut out right now.
No.
So go ahead, Eric, and let's open the voting.
Go.
I'm seeing a lot of backlots.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Eric,
let me say, heck of a show you've put on here the last few weeks. I've really enjoyed Locked In, and you've done an amazing job, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys being on here. I know it's not always fun to give up your Saturday, although we haven't had anywhere to go until recently. So I've enjoyed being with you guys and sharing all this stuff, and other people other panelists have joined too, and it's been a lot of fun. We've had some guests, none as big a celebrity as Rolando here. So thank you, Rolando, for joining us. We're not quite done, but we had my sister, we had my friend Jason, who was a Backlot Tour tram driver at one point. I don't know if that's the appropriate name for it, but he was a Backlot Tour cast member, among other things. And I think he would be torn today in this vote, even though it's Backlot and Adventurers Club.
Honestly, there's only a winner here. Like, I'd be okay with Adventurers Club or Backlot. Like, it's not like I'm super passionate either way. Like, give me one of them back, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, either one of them, any of these coming back, and I'd be happy. So, just some of them would make me like.
If you drive down World Drive,
Tours coming back, I'm like, yeah.
You can see the back of Galaxy's Edge. There's no.
See the back of Galaxy's Edge.
There's no effort to hide that.
A little.
You read the Jungle Cruise. It's like you're in a boat thinking.
They want to show you behind the scenes.
Because, we often say, and not just on this show, that Hollywood Studios, it doesn't know what it is, or the name. They were going to change the name to like Hyperia Axel or Storyverse or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, where does that sit with you?
If you change the name.
I think Hollywood needs to know what it is. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
It's For a 30-year-old, it's really acting like a teenager.
Eric, you want to close the voting now? Are we still having votes?
Let's do it.
Come in? All right, this is the end. Boom, last vote. Votes closed. And we do have a couple things coming up. So I haven't even spoken to you today yet, Pete, but did everybody get the scripts I sent out?
I didn't. I got it.
Okay.
I got it in Microsoft Word and in a PDF.
Yeah, you got it twice. We had to make sure.
And you're right on schedule. I told Lauren this is going to happen at the end of the show, so expect it around 2:30. Because Eric will never.
Yeah, we always go late. We always we have free bonus content. This is your sneak preview of WIGS membership, by the way. WIGS, WDW Interglobe Society, patreon.com/WDWNT. Yeah, they get post shows that you normal viewers don't get. It's free here. I'm like the Showtime preview. I still get Showtime free on Spectrum right now. I don't know why. I think they're just letting everyone have it while they're locked up. All right. Do we have the final votes, Eric?
We do. So we have 7 votes for the Adventures Club.
Okay.
Mr. Toad is going to be hopping on one leg with 1 vote.
Nice.
And Backlot Tour has a whopping 20 votes.
What?
Oh,
that's 24 for the Backlot. 24 for the Backlot Tour. That is 15 for the Adventures Club and 1 for Mr. Toad. There is a matter of a tiebreaker that we're going to have to go back to. Right? Are we still? No. Were we tied?
Yeah, we still are.
No, I think
No, wait. I'm sorry.
donation
Snow White
from Carl
Snow White jumped out.
picked that up.
Yeah. So that's 29-23 Snow White. So at this point in time, ring the bell, Kevin. This is a conclusion of this episode of Disney Deathmatch. So we have the Backlot Tour is coming back. Congratulations, everyone. The Backlot Tour. I got to call my friend.
Yay.
He's got to dust off his old uniform. Backlot Tour coming soon. I'll talk to Mr. Chapek myself. We have in the first death match that we had today was that was the no, that was at the mines.
Mines.
Yeah. So out of that, we have Big Thunder Mountain survives. Finding Nemo's gone. 7 Doors Mine Train is gone. And the next matchup, we had the original Magic Kingdom attraction, the opening day Magic Kingdom attractions. It was a landslide victory for the Haunted Mansion. So the Haunted Mansion stays, and then we get a JCPenney outlet. And no, they're going out of business. We can't do that.
And in
I don't know.
Burlington.
We'll get something, right? We'll get a food court, a twisty treat.
Real Canadian
and then
store.
Left-handed store. Then we have the Snow White and Cinderella matchup. This was a bloody and brutal matchup. We should have thought about bloody. No, we couldn't. But 29-23, Snow White won. And then on the life match, we have the Backlot Tour coming back. So thank you for joining us on the Disney Deathmatch. The show, I just have a couple things left before we wrap up our final show. We started this show, for those of you who have been with us the whole time, we started by doing a live performance of the Carousel of Progress. You may remember our janky cog that Eric Wolf was able to create. I don't even have a cog today. We're just going to do a live reading of one additional scene.
I can use my ring.
Use your ring. Is it a cog? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Welcome to the Carousel of Progress. So as we know, this would just be a scene added onto the end. So they've been singing, "There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow."
And at the end.
And there we go. Yeah, thank you. And it spins. It's perfect, Alice.
Beautiful tomorrow. And we're all 1 second off of time.
This is why we don't do sing-alongs on live.
So
Zoom is delayed, and that's the start. Sorry.
It's not Zoom. It's not Zoom. So I'm just going to pick up with the scene. We're going to pretend the last scene of the Parasol Progress is taking place, and now we're transported to 2020. So now the year is 2020. We spin in, and I am the old dad sitting there, probably wearing an ascot or something bizarre. So yeah, it looks like Easter is right around the corner. The days are starting to get warmer, and I've even seen some flowers starting to bloom. What year is it? Oh, about 2020. And believe you me, things couldn't be any better than they are now. Men are drinking alcoholic seltzer and not even trying to hide it. I've got one right here. I can watch any movie I want on any number of devices in my home, and we can travel from New York to Los Angeles in only 5 hours. We can even send pictures of ourselves making duck faces all around the world in a matter of seconds. We get all our important information on our phones and computers from a woman named Kylie Jenner. And I even hear tell us some fellas who can gather enough data about us over the internet that they'll know more about us than we know about ourselves, and they'll sell it for a profit. It'll never work. Right now, we have something called a pandemic going on, and I haven't left this chair in 3 weeks. I'm not even sure where my pants are. Yes, sir, the world looks set to finally enter one of those dystopian periods Hollywood has been so obsessed with for years. Right now, people can't decide if we want to divide up the country into geographic districts or into factions based on our personality traits.
Wowee, would you look at that?
Now, Aiden, I thought I told you to leave my smartphone alone while it's charging.
Ooh la la. So that's Big Eyes 1993.
Isn't she a knockout?
What's Tinder, Dad?
You put that away before your mother finds it, son.
Oh, Dad. Hey, whose iPad's over here? What's Grindr?
No privacy at all around this place.
Oh, Mother.
Yes, dear.
I was just reading about a fella named Elon Musk who's working on colonizing Mars.
Well, maybe up there, the days are long enough to do the wash, take the kids to soccer practice, clean the house, cook dinner, go to yoga class, and update the dog's Instagram page.
Yes, dear.
Well, dogs don't just influence themselves, dear.
Oh, Daddy!
Yes, Jaden. That's my daughter, Jaden. You may have noticed my son's name is Aiden. There's now a law on the books that at least 40% of the population has to be given names that rhyme with Aiden. Anyway, what is it, dear?
Oh, all these people! Tell them to follow me on TikTok. I've been working on a new Carabaskin dance, and it's straight fire.
Yes, dear. My daughter's a malignant narcissist. Oh, haha. I'm sorry. I forgot we're calling them Instagram models these days. Same kind of thing, different name. Well, that's progress for you. Speaking of progress, there's a great, beautiful tomorrow. At the end of the day.
Thank you for joining us for the latest installment of the Carousel of Progress. We hope you enjoyed seeing what our family was up to. And we invite you to come back again and again and watch our family change through the ages. Now gather all of your belongings, watch your step, and exit through the back of the theater.
Thank you very much. We specialize in stupid around here, so there you go. Here's our new updated Carousel of Progress. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, everybody. There's no air conditioning. There's no reason to stay. I've been thinking a long time about ways to end this show. Actually, before we do that, let's do the video first. Let's do the video first, Kevin.
Hey, my cog.
Welcome to WDWNT Live. We don't really have a hard structure for how the show is going to work. We want this to be interactive, and we want to interact with you guys, talk, answer questions. he did. I just want to keep this in everybody's mind.
We don't know.
Don't know when the parks will open.
It's me.
Oh.
When you got your
And we came up with the Butters cam. So from time to time, we may cut to Butters and see what she's up to. She's out on the patio right now. She's taking a little bit of a nap. We are known as the worst show on the internet. So we'd like to thank you for joining us.
Bravo.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Tyler made that video for me. Thank you very much, Tyler. He talked me out of my first idea, which was terrible, which was to actually show the first carousel progress that we did. You can find it on YouTube if you want to see the whole thing. Talked a little bit about ways to end series. So I looked up ways that iconic series like this ended. So there was Roseanne and Newhart both ended with it was like a dream, right? There was a dream. I went through that. I said, no, I don't want to make it a dream. Yeah. Saint Elsewhere, that was like it turned out it was all in the mind of an autistic child. If you're old like me and you remember that was a big deal. MASH, like Hawkeye flew away and they had spelled goodbye in rocks like on the ground. And so the ending I came up for, here's the if I had a cooperative dog and I had a film crew and a director and special effects, here's how we would end the show. It would be Eric looks outside of his cell and he sees Butters wide-eyed with the keys still in her mouth. Eric makes one final silent plea for help. Butters gazes at him and steps closer. They share a long look at one another before she steps within reach and gives Eric the keys to the cell. He unlocks the cell and they leave together. They are no longer locked in. They are free. That would be the end.
Oh, somebody make this, please. It is so sweet.
So thank you so much for joining us. Rolando, thank you. I know it's your first time with us, but thank you. It's like you're part of the family already. Eric, Wolf, Allison.
Thank you.
Pete, Tyler.
It's been a real pleasure.
Kevin, if you want to pop in, if you want to turn on your camera and pop in, you can. If not, you can just say hi. Kevin has been our producer every single week. He gives up time. All of these people are volunteers. We're not being, we are volunteers just to give you guys content. I know we've had Katie on here. We had Jill Diffendahl. We had Jason from Trapped on Vacation. We had my sister Hillary on here. All the people who have contributed over this time, we want to thank you for that. Everyone, I want to encourage everyone to watch tonight, 9 p.m. We are going to do a fundraiser for the cast member pantry. So we will have a short segment on there. We'll do a very, very brutal, apparently death match that people are apparently very passionate about tonight. But it's been a great ride with you guys. I'm so happy and thankful for all the viewers and all the love that we've received. We promise we'll do something again in the future in some form to do it. And thanks to all of you. Have a great Saturday. This has been Locked In with Eric Morton. Goodbye. Have a great day.
Hooray!
Yeah!